got a hot Latina girlfriend. You know, trans rights? What's that? I don't know. Psh, gosh, she's overreacting. What's she gonna do? Shoot up a school? Great going. This is I know this is going great because he immediately just goes, who cares about her? I still got Rosa. Nothing can take her away from me. I can't wait for that to horribly age. Who knows? Oh my gosh, Don Quixote not! Yes!
Yeah! Don Quixote.
Oh my gosh. My lawyer's homeless now.
Oh no. He turned into Akiyama.
He turned into Akiyama.
Come in, Kaito-san.
Hello.
Are you getting close yet?
Oh wait, he's undercover.
Yeah, he's undercover.
What is... What the fuck is wrong with Volgan? Stop! Volgan, stop grabbing! Oh my gosh! Dude, just double tap, double dip his hand over there.
Don't play dumb with me.
That's how we can tell
you think you can fool me? You're sorely mistaken.
Writing off.
I know them better than anyone else.
Oh my god! Wait! Raiden and Volgan?
I come here looking for Tatiana.
Oh my gosh! What?
Yeah.
Wait! So. Is it like a fucking like polycule shit going on with Volgan, Ava, and Raidenoff?
No, it's more of like a triangle. There's no line in the bottom.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh, it's the boss! Ah! Wait, Archimedes is. Oh, I'm so disappointed! I thought it was Knuckles' daddy. No! It's the fucking.
Nope.
Ant. Oh, I'm actually disappointed now. Holy shit, I'm actually disappointed. I really thought it was gonna be his dad. It's just a dumb ant.
Here's what's funny is I knew this whole time, and I'm just like waiting. I can't wait. I can't wait for when Chase learns it's not the dad, it's an ant.
I wanted it to be the dad though, because it would have been so funny. It's always nice for me too, Rosa. I actually kind of wish he did. Wait, Nick. Ending 1, maybe he'll chuck the phone. Despite Rosa's flustered tone, she shifts a little closer to me.
I was going to say bird, Minofio.
There's no one around to... My train of thought is brought to a screeching halt. Yes!
Oh.
Let's go!
Oh!
Yes!
Oh!
Oh! Yes! Oh!
Oh no!
Oh no! Yes!
Originally just convenience stores that were from America. They were more popular over there, so they just went over there.
Wall jump? What? You can perform a wall jump by pressing your sprint button toward the wall. On top of being able to wall strike, you can also perform X actions off a wall jump. What? Hold on.
Yeah. You can jump.
Oh my gosh! What? Yo! Holy shit! Wait. Hold on. Okay. Oh my gosh, we can. Oh my gosh, Yakami can kick stuff.
You really are Daniel now.
All right. Oh my gosh! Wait, I could. What? Holy shit! There's so many things Yakami can do now. Okay. Oh my gosh.
It's coming out.
Oh my gosh, Johnny.
Here it comes.
Still going.
Oh my gosh, Johnny!
Wow. I didn't think that was possible. That's a record.
That's a wreck. Johnny, are you keeping track of like your poop? It's like, oh man, that was like the largest poop I had this week. Oh man, let me tell you, it's like each piece was like 12 inches long. Brand new record there. I don't want to hear this. Oh, believe me, I don't want to hear it either. But it's the fact. Like yesterday, I had a poop that was like just barely 10 inches long. But now, chunks of it were just 12 inches long. Please stop talking about your poop. No, this is important. For me, I shall keep a watchful eye as my forefathers have done for countless generations. For isn't it the father's duty to look after his son? He faked his death, Nick.
He faked his death.
Yay! We didn't. Oh my gosh! No, it's not up. Please, Ken. Oh, Ken, please let it end. Let it end, Ken. Why is it red? Why is it red?
Chase, I need to know, are you looking at art or a picture?
I looked up. So nodding, Nick, has something to do with the canine animals. So I looked up.
Yes.
The actual canine part. Why is it red?
No, you're actually looking at the...
Why is it red? What? Okay. Holy shit. Donna? Donna? What do you think? What do you think, Donna? You don't think so? Fuck you, Donna! Don't you call the cops, bitch! Sam? Do you want some weed? No? You don't want weed, Sam? Fucking talk to me when you want weed, damn it. Gosh. I'm trying to be a good citizen, clean up this town, and while also I want that good D snake. Is that some kind of snake? Because if you want that, I'll get it for you. Well, you could say it's a snake, all right. Wow.
Good D. There's no. What are you talking about? What animal are you talking about? There's no kind of meat called D.
Thank you, Snake.
Oh, you being so dumb just makes you even hotter. Like temperature-wise? I don't have a fever.
I don't really feel any different. It's room temperature here.
God damn it, I just want to have sex with you.
Oh, see, now you're just... see, now that you just said that.
No, like, he's like, oh, you see Ava.
Wait, the timing's so... Are you telling me the next time we do this, I have to deal with the fucking skunk?
Yeah, because that is the next thing we're reading. No miniseries, no special issue, this one.
Oh my gosh. Oh!
What if a spider just went onto like that pile and just...
Oh! Stop! Oh! Stop! Please. Please.
Oh, okay, but do think about the ladybug. Mommy, look, it's a ladybug!
Don't ever mention that.
Ladybug.
Don't ever
Ladybug.
mention. Don't ever mention that again. Oh my gosh.
But the ladybug joke or the spider?
What do you think? The spider. A fucking course the spider, Nick. I'm fine with a fucking ladybug, but a spider, no, no. What do you think, huh? What you
Jesus.
I'm gonna get like legit angry at you, Nick.
Okay.
Peter, he's coming this way. He's coming this way. Hold on a second.
Oh my gosh, his
What?
full fucking name.
What?
Peter File.
Okay, let's go beat up. Let's go. You know what? Let's go beat up Peter. Peter, where are you? I'm gonna go beat you up, Peter. You don't deserve to live, Peter. You fucking pervert. There's
Oh my
Peter.
gosh.
There's Peter. That
He's
fucking.
just a guy with born with an unfortunate name.
There he is, pervert. Here, hold on, hold on, here. You know what? Here. Here's where. Oh wait, hold on, here. Hold on, here. You know what? Criminals can still make me money. All right, Peter. Hot dogs. No, Chelsea. Well, I mean, you know, I like hot dogs. They're delicious, and you know, wiener dogs. They can be cute. So I guess in some instances you can say, I love wiener. No, Amy, we are not friends. You are a bitch who is leeching off of my success as a celebrity. Hold on. Oh gosh. Oh, damn it. That bruise just healed.
It's whatever. Just promise me you'll convince her to use a rubber, okay?
Oh my goodness! Whoa! Alright!
Gosh, you know who fucking wrote this?
I know.
Oh, and nice cry.
ユータに聞きました。
Hold on, wait. Everyone's still in their funerary clothes, and then here's Akiyama's like, you know, I don't want to feel left out, you know, with my bright ass, red, jacket and all that. You know, I'll just dress all in black just to fit in somehow. My man, what a homie. he's not only gonna go into the Millennium Tower to fight alongside because he's just that much of a bro, but he's also gonna make sure I was gonna make sure my drip doesn't, clash with the rest of the team. Oh, I love him. I love Akiyama so much.
And now my journey comes to a close. What a splendid way
Shit.
to end
His
it all.
uniform changed colors. Oh, it's like the leaves on his clothes are dying as well.
I can return to the form of Allah.
Wait! His fucking teeth popped out and he just blew up! What? Okay, this was my favorite boss death in this game so far. Because he just blew up and his teeth just flew out. Just, oh no! There goes my teeth! Wait! My gosh, Tails, let me win, please! Win! Yes! Tails! That's right, Tails! I'm Sonic! It's Team Sonic Racing, Tails! Do you call this Team Tails Racing? No!
What was once like a thriving stretch of road kind of got completely. I want to say desolate. Desolate is not a correct word. It is not completely desolate, but it feels
border on ghostly.
Yeah.
I see.
there's like a ton of this thing because like eventually another highway, a better highway was built to go into Walt Disney World, and like all traffic gets funneled into International Drive. So
I see.
so there is that sense of like to use a historical reference. It's sort of like when Route 66 kind of got ghosted after the interstate highway fully fully finished. So like
I see.
It's just a natural.
So you
just like natural thing.
Yeah. So you had like this war that was kind of raged. And afterwards, after Michael Eisner stepped down, the next tenure after that started kind of like pulling back some of that things.
Alright. Actually, hold on, let me see. Also, it's time. Let me see. How do we sound? Actually, hold on, let me see. Also, it's time. Let me see. Okay, I sound fine. Wait, hold on, say something, guys?
Babaloo.
Yeah, I would only
wait, hold on, say
the
something,
only
guys?
thing I would say
Babaloo.
To you.
Alright, we're good.
Earlier. Never mind.
Okay.
My brain is just like, oh, getting a little tired, but
Well, that's what happens when you talk about the state of American politics. We could talk about something we could talk about something funnier, like how Michael Eisner betrayed the shareholders.
You betrayed the shareholders. Tommy,
I'm sorry, not every time you bring up Michael Eisner, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Michael Eisner? Karima! You betrayed the shareholders!
I know. Like I like Michael Eisner was not a perfect man. You know, lest I remind everyone that this was the man who thought, for European expansion, let's open a park in one of the most coldest, rigid places ever, and one of the most stuck up, set in their own ways place ever. Instead of essentially, what I'm trying to say here is he decided Euro Disneyland should be a great place for France instead of Spain.
Oh, that's great.
I also agree. Like it was like it really should have been like it. The first people that go to the first. There's a thing called in Japan. There's a thing called Paris syndrome, which is the absolute utter disappointment that Japanese people have when we go to Paris.
Guys. Karima. I mean, whatever happened? Wait, hold on. I legit don't know. Oh, is he even still around? Is he? Oh my gosh, he's still alive.
Michael Eisner?
Yeah, he's 83 though. Wow.
Yeah.
Hearts.
83 years old. He's still kicking. What's he doing now?
He owns an equity firm, and he invests in a lot of like projects that he likes. Like Michael Eisner is the reason why we got BoJack Horseman.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Huh.
So,
Neato.
yeah. So like his leadership wasn't always the best. But whenever Michael likes something, and usually sometimes whenever he does like something, it does come out to be really good.
Actually, I'm curious now. How old is Bob? I'm gonna look this up. Bob, Mr. Iger, how old? 74. He's 74 years old. Okay, Bob, you.
Get a good spry 60-year-old man in there. Get out of this old shit. You guys, streaming back room.
Okay, what do you want to show us? Hatsune Miku! Hatsune Miku funeral stuff, yeah! I too want to be buried in the Miku coffin.
At least one son of a bitch is gonna do this.
Oh yeah, but hey, man, that's just a funny idea.
Chase, I need you to hold on. Let me find it really quick.
Oh my gosh, what do you want? What Family Guy clip do you need me to show?
It's not a Family Guy clip.
Well,
is everything I do just a Family Guy clip to you? I thought we had something.
Well, I don't know, Nick. Most of it is a Family.
Transformers.
Well, I don't know, Nick. Sometimes it's a Family Guy clip, and if you're feeling daring, it's an American Dad clip.
What about Cleveland Phil?
Oh, the Cleveland Show is just an extension of Family Guy, so.
And there's not many of those clips. Okay.
Alright, what do you want me to show?
Okay, I want you to play this.
Okay.
I mean, you've probably already seen it, but there's a point I'm trying to make.
Oh, the Game Fest trailer for Sonic?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold up, give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. Okay, hold on. Thank you, Sega. Sega! Whoa! Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me show this off real quick. Yeah, just share the whole screen. OBS. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Oh wait, actually, I should show this off as well on stream since you want me to do that. Sonic. Okay. Is there a specific time you want me to play?
Yeah, just play it. Just play it.
Alright, just play it. Woo! Get ready!
Haha, Transformers.
Rope Eggman! Oh, excuse me. Ah, here we go. I think I know what you're getting at. From across From across the Sonic universe. Hold on.
Let's mix it up.
Wait.
There's
Storm. We got Storm.
There's Storm and beyond. Hatsune Miku!
I knew what they were doing, showing her off right after Storm.
Right after Storm.
Right after they showed that Storm was gonna be in, they immediately played. They knew what they were fucking doing.
Gosh. Hatsune Miku, is that you?
Slack.
Is this an eternal monologue? Hatsune Miku.
Oh no, we can't let them do that to Adam Sandler's career. Yeah, his career can't take another hit.
Hey Ray. Oh yeah, how's it going? Oh my goodness. We're talking about Hatsune Miku. Oh man. You know what? Miku. It must be nice to be Miku. She's not real, so she doesn't, and so the idol industry can't hurt her. She doesn't exist in real life, so she can't be hurt. Good for Miku. Good for Miku. I mean, this. Actually, you know what? Can I also just say real quick? This is related to the topics we're gonna get into. So before the stream, I did sit down and I actually did finish watching the K-pop movie That's why the stream is tiled the way it is. They can sing, all right. They can sing, but it's just funny.
Wait, what? Wait, what? You were watching the K-pop movie?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yay!
Yeah, I watched
another one.
I watched the K-pop movie, but it's funny because but it's just
okay.
But it's just
so funny enough, Changus. I'm watching the ending again to it right now. I'm watching your idol scene that goes into the final song.
Okay.
This is like the first film in a long time where I'm like, I want to watch clips again. Like purposely going on Netflix and just scrolling for my favorite
one
scenes.
didn't do that for you. I'm so sad.
No. I saw it in theaters.
I'm so disappointed he doesn't.
So
I'm so disappointed. He doesn't go rewatch Transformers 1. I'm gonna.
I do have access to
I'm gonna sick Ethan Hunt after you. I'm gonna tell him you're working for the entity. He's gonna be like, oh my gosh, he's working for the entity. We have to stop him, and then I'll be happy.
Oh come on, Ethan Hunt. Just all you have to do is stick your arm out and he can't catch you.
Yeah. Actually, that's really funny. Actually, real quick, cause it wasn't Mission Impossible, but was it? No, yeah, it was yesterday before the whole we started the whole Transformers thing. I actually ended up sitting down and I watched Days of Thunder. It was nice. It was a nice movie. I do think Top Gun is better. That's two Tony Scott movies with Tom Cruise I've seen so far. I like Top Gun a little more. He's really getting into it. He's really getting into it. Those Koreans got him hooked. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, I get it. So when a Korean pretty boy band sings, it's like, oh, they're so cute and hot. But when I sing, my parents tell me, shut up, go to bed. I see. Okay.
Look, I'm just playing also because I'm waiting for Rumi to come in at the end too.
Okay. But anyways, I was saying I watched Days of Thunder, and it's a nice Tom Cruise movie. Days of Thunder is interesting because it feels like similar beats to Top Gun, but it's not Top Gun. It's like, well, one it's about the Navy and the planes, and this one's about NASCAR. But it's fun though. It's fun. It's got similar beats to Top Gun, but it's like a different beast. Honestly, also anytime I see Robert Duvall in a movie now, I just think of Chris just yelling, Robert Duvall!
Robert Duvall!
Robert Duvall! So it's watching Days of Thunder, it's like, oh my god, Robert Duvall!
I don't remember why, but I was thinking about The Godfather earlier today. And then I got to I just thought of Robert Duvall. So son of a bitch. Every time I see Robert Duvall.
It's a great movie. You got actors like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Robert Duvall.
I mean, you got Al Pacino.
Now I'm seeing all the beauty.
Have you seen Days of Thunder or not?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
It's better than what its reception kind of got.
It wasn't received that well.
It wasn't received that well because people they were comparing it too much to Top Gun. Because
okay.
Is Days of Thunder another jet movie?
No. Days of Thunder is a racing movie with Tom Cruise. It's made.
Okay.
It's the same director though as Top Gun.
Yeah, it was their second collaboration. So people, because Top Gun was the movie that kind of put Tom Cruise on the map. That and Risky Business. So when you see like, oh, Tony Scott and Tom Cruise together, you think, oh man, you know, it's like we're gonna get another Top Gun. But it's like Days of Thunder is just really good on its own. Because it's not, oddly enough, you know, like considering how many deaths in the past was associated with NASCAR. It's you know, it's associated, you know, it's associated, you know, with that same danger as like Top Gun. But I guess it's like people, you know, because people are like, oh, you know, this is, you know, it feels kind of like, you know, again, they compared it to Top Gun. It's like this kind of feels like, you know, is shot the same way as Top Gun, because that's like riding in a racing is in the same, you know, kind of just looks the same as, you know, piloting a jet.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a shame that it wasn't received that well. I really like Days of Thunder.
I think it is one of those movies that like did get a cult following.
Okay.
Genghis, you should take the time and watch Tony Scott's work.
Sure, I'd love to.
Because there's a lot of great movies that like kind of got swept under the rug. Unfortunately, because of, you know, him taking his own life.
Oh, what? Oh, what happened?
It was like 2012.
Oh,
and he was, you know, like he was on the Vincent Thomas Bridge on San Pedro.
Oh no. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, there's a whole there's just a whole lot of where it's like there's a whole lot of unresolved issues that he was dealing with.
Ah, man, that's a shame.
But like,
Do a million pieces.
but yeah, like, you know, because he did Top Gun, of course. He did The Last Boy Scout, which is a great movie with
Bruce Willis and
Damon Wayans.
Oh, Bruce Willis. Oh.
He did True Romance.
True Romance.
True Romance is really good.
Yeah, True
really?
Romance.
Oh, okay, I'll watch that.
It's basically Quentin Tarantino before Quentin Tarantino. Because Quentin Tarantino was writing the script.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
He wrote the script before he released
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
Ah, I see.
And Enemy of the State is also really good. That's one.
So Will Smith and Gene Hackman.
Oh, okay.
It's sort of a spy movie in
I see.
like the surveillance state.
I see. Will Smith. The Smith era, baby. Let's go. Okay. Yeah. What was the last thing he ever did? Not.
I think. Wait, because I think it was Unstoppable. Yeah, it was Unstoppable. The one about the train.
Unstoppable. Oh. I think I remember seeing a trailer vaguely of this once in theaters, but never saw it. Oh, Chris is one of the Chris's and Mr. Washington of Denzel. Okay, interesting. Ah, is it good or not?
Yeah, it was a good little movie.
Ah, okay, neato. Oh, Kevin Dunn's in this. I didn't know. I didn't know he was in here. Great. Now, Kevin Dunn's kind of been ruined. Well, not really ruined, but like whenever I see him, all I can think about is just.
So fast.
Every time I see Kevin Dunn, all I can think about is, oh my gosh, it's Sam Witwicky's dad from Transformers. Wow.
How'd you get under the table so fast?
How'd you get under the table so fast? He still has a cup of wine in his hand.
he's also the superior in like the superior the commanding officer in the first season of True Detective. So,
Really?
yeah.
That's what.
Wait, what?
I
heard True Detective.
Yeah, he
Kevin Dunn.
He was the major back in '95. That like would always get Woody Harrelson to wrangle Matthew McConaughey because McConaughey would go off on these tangents of like a wider conspiracy, and he has to look at Harrelson and tell him it's like you're his partner, tell him he's gotta get his head on straight.
I still need to see True Detective.
It's fucking great, man.
I've heard. Are the well, okay, so I know everyone talks about like first season's great. Is there any other season besides the first that's like pretty good?
Season 2 I think gets a bad rap just because people compare it too much to the first season, which is expected because like the first season is just phenomenal. I think season 2 is worth a check, because I think the problem is Nick Pizzolatto is a really good writer, but like you needed Kari Fukunaga too.
Hold that thought. I'm currently ordering a drink on DoorDash. I got all right. So here are the options.
All
right. Coke, Sprite, root beer, fruit punch, Fanta orange, or Dr. Pepper.
Water.
Went Dr. Pepper last time. Let's go with
Fanta.
I said root beer.
I got 1 vote Fanta and 1 vote root beer. And 1 vote water.
1 water.
Yes. I guess to prevent a stalemate, root beer.
Root beer? Okay, I'm getting the root beer.
Alright, let's go. We got the root beer.
Alright. Flavor time, because I get to add flavors.
I don't know, just basic
vanilla.
root beer.
Hold on.
Okay.
Options.
I like the.
Do they have root beers? Do they have like a diet root beer or something like that? Or like a root beer zero?
I don't see a diet root beer option.
Okay.
Basically, we got. We got cherry, cranberry, grape, blue coconut, vanilla, peach, blue and blue raspberry.
Vanilla. I like all those others just kind of seem weird.
Okay, we got vanilla. Anyone else?
Hey, I just put what Nick is doing in the streaming back room.
I guess vanilla's like basic, right? So I just go with vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla.
Mm-hmm. No other flavors.
Just go with the basic root beer's root
Vanilla,
beer,
man.
man.
I don't. Hey, you know what it is? I'm fucking Peter at Fuddruckers right now, and you're Chris and Meg.
Like, I've always seen it had with vanilla, so I think vanilla is always the best bet.
So I'm getting another drink, but it's one I always get, and it's a Dr. Pepper with vanilla and peach.
Oh my gosh! I should have just said to get the Dr. Pepper then. If you're gonna get Dr. Pepper in the first place.
Yeah, but this is a different drink.
You gonna drink? What? If we told you to get Dr. Pepper, would you drink 2 Dr. Peppers?
Yes, but I'd also ask what flavors you would add to it.
Just do
Just stick with the vanilla root beer, man. You asked for our input, and you've got 2 votes for vanilla root beer. Okay. If you don't
root beer, it doesn't need any.
If you're not happy with what we told you, then why did you ask us?
Because I thought you'd be more whimsical.
Oh my god!
I was set up for this. Like I'm pleading the fifth.
Oh my goodness! And if I told you, Nick, to just get basic normal Dr. Pepper, would you just be drinking 2 basic Dr. Peppers?
No, because one of them is a Dr. Pepper with vanilla and peach, and I would not accept the regular Dr. Pepper because I could always just get a regular Dr. Pepper. But from this place, it's so interesting because you could get a drink, but then add shit to it that makes it a new experience.
But I don't really need a new experience, Nick. Soda is soda.
I want a new experience.
Okay. Oh my gosh. This the same guy who got legit upset at me that I didn't actually go for the Kim Jong-il soda. I just thought it was funny. Yes. I don't need like any fancy soda, Nick. I'm just fine with just normal soda.
I take you to a place that's fun and whimsical, and you just get the basic shit.
Cause I don't need anything other than basic. Soda is soda. Oh my gosh. This game was rigged from the beginning.
I've been known that Genghis Khan's favorite color is beige.
I'm rescinding the favoritism.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Well, hey, I'll have you know, beige works in certain situations, Nick. Alright? I'm a simple man. I got simple taste. Alright? Well, half of my clothes... Well, no, not even half. Like all my clothes is just black. It's just all black because it's simple, it's basic, and I don't have to really worry about like, oh man, is this gonna clash or anything like that? It's just just go with black.
As long as you accent black, it looks really cool.
So, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna be spontaneous. I'm gonna be creative here.
All right.
So instead of root beer, just Fanta raspberry.
All right, you know what?
Okay.
All right, you know what? Fine. I'll just go with Nod's answer. You get the Fanta then.
All right then.
I'm Fanta orange, to be a contrarian.
Oh.
Ninjato. We have to tie the vote. Vote Fanta orange.
Fanta orange.
I don't care. I don't care.
But Nick cares. But Nick cares apparently.
If you don't care, then just vote Fanta orange.
Nick cares apparently. It's like, oh,
am I married to Nick?
Well, I don't know, man. He's the one who's.
And I don't care.
Well, look, he's the one who's getting upset at all of us for choosing basic answers. It's like, it's like, if you weren't gonna be happy with our answers, Nick, then why did you ask us?
Look, I'm at the way of thinking is that if you drink so much soda that you have to have like a new flavor combination every time you buy a new.
It isn't
soda.
that. It's just that whenever I see, is that if I'm given the option to try shit, I'm probably gonna try shit.
Well, good for you.
Don't ask me about which options. Just pick one.
Anyways.
Especially it's like 45 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, we spent 45 minutes talking about Michael Eisner.
You know what else is a bunch of colorful drinks?
What?
Well, it's colorful, but I'm not sure about the drink. K-pop Demon Hunter.
Yes.
Look, they did have colorful ramen cups.
Okay, well, there's that, but
or ramen.
Yeah. No, wait. They did have the song about soda, though. The Pretty Demon Boy Band.
Yeah, Soda Pop.
They had the song about the sodas, so there we go.
Yeah, compare their audience.
You know what? All right. You know who else is creating a song and dance about soda?
Who?
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Okay.
Well, in this one. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So for those who are.
Mom.
If you say your mom, you're fired.
My mom! Get out!
Get out of here!
It was worth it! Ooh!
It was worth it!
So this is my experience with K-pop Demon Hunters.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, Serena was, like, posting this on like, our Discord.
Girl, this is like become that girl's new obsession. She's been constantly posting about this.
Yeah, she was. But when it was coming out and they showed the preview, this was the premise I got from like the first preview, was that it was about like a K-pop band discovering there's demons and they're targeting their fans, so they go defend the fans. Turns out I was wrong.
Yeah, that's
for one thing. And another thing I was wrong, like, when you have, like, a title of K-pop Demon Hunters, it's, like, one of the most on-the-nose things. So it's most likely either amazing or it's gonna be a B-movie. Because who on earth would name the title of the film K-pop Demon Hunters?
It is kind of a very basic...
People have a lot of confidence.
It is, like, a very basic title. It's like, yep. That's what's the premise of the movie? The title. There you go. Enjoy.
It's like going up to a restaurant and it's called a restaurant.
it's like watching a historical film and you get Gettysburg. It's like, okay, I know what I'm getting into.
So yeah, it's like, yep.
Like,
what's K-pop Demon Hunters? What's it about? It's about K-pop groups hunting demons.
What's K-pop? What's K-pop? What's K-pop Demon Hunters about? Well, it's about a food championship.
Exactly. Oh, let's go.
Okay.
Wait, real quick. My computer just alerted me. I have an air quality alert now. Yeah, let's go. I love it.
You live in the Los Angeles area. That's good.
Well, there's that, but also my dad told me that like there was like a fire earlier today. I don't know if it's still burning or not, so that's probably why there's an air quality effect.
Yep. Last night, when the fireworks were going, after the fireworks went off, I poked my head outside, and my dog was barking. I was like, okay, maybe he wants to go out. And I poked my head outside, and then I could hear firing strikes. I was like, oh, that's what he's barking at.
That's what he's barking at.
Yeah, people are just shooting fireworks all weekend. Anyway, so the premise of this film, for those who are under a rock, is that in this world, demons exist, and Korea has counteraction to demons. Is every generation there's these 3 women who have magical powers that uses their songs to fight demons. Super cool. And this group of, we're going from center. We got Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. Zoe's the short hair. Rumi's the main chick in the center in the thumbnail we have, and Mira is the long hair punk girl. And they are the latest generation. They're part of a K-pop band called Huntrix, and they are almost completing this thing called the Hamon, the golden Hamon, which is basically the permanent barrier.
Honmun.
honeymoon.
You make it sound like Hamon, like JoJo.
Look, I'm an American, okay?
Oh my gosh, the Hamon? Like JoJo? Wow. Well, why didn't you lead with this then? I would have watched this movie sooner. I didn't know it was JoJo.
Oh yes, Korean. Oh yes, Korean. I can speak Korean. Luna Snow. Train to Busan. Korean. Kim Jong-un.
These K-pop things face off against these demons using electric breathing techniques.
Exactly.
Yeah. It will probably be an easier job, but that's not how the Koreans deal with this. So anyway, so
they get stands.
Well, no, there's no stands yet.
No stands.
No. I said in the sequel they get stands.
Oh, true.
They will have to find the special arrows of Yi, Admiral Yi's special arrows or something.
Exactly.
Along with his turtle boats.
Exactly. But anyways,
one of the stands is a turtle boat.
Oh, of course.
But it is pronounced honmoon. They say it out loud, Ninjato. They say how it's pronounced.
Honmoon.
Yeah.
Honmoon. Okay, so they're about to complete this golden honmoon, which has been around for generations, but it's gonna be golden. Once it's golden, demons can't go into it. So the demons are like,
it's like a magic force field.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the underworld, while some demons are on fire for their latest failure, a demon named Genu.
Oh,
shut up, he goes.
Genu? I forgot how his name's pronounced.
Yeah. He goes, okay, while you're having the demons on fire, I have an idea that we fight fire with fire.
Oh, and how do you propose we do that?
He summons for, and then it's like, we become a boy band.
Oh my god!
And I love it how the main bad guy goes, what?
What? What are you talking about?
I just love it, and then it's like he goes, how are they gonna be fooled by that? And it's like he uses his magic to make his compatriots more beautiful, and then the demons goes, oh yeah, that's totally gonna work. That's 100% gonna work.
Yeah, that'll work.
They just got the minimum amount of plastic surgery that everybody does in Korea.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So meanwhile, Rumi, our main character, as they release their latest song to kind of complete the Golden Hamon, is losing her voice because it's revealed, oh, she's part demon. Because her mom decided to
We don't know.
Fell in love with a demon. We didn't get any explanation on that.
It doesn't matter. The point is she's part.
The only thing that matters is that the only thing that matters is that her foster mom / mentor basically tells her to hide the fact that she is part demons from her friends, who are very much into the 40K mindset when it comes to demons.
Demon! Hellfire!
Hellfire!
Dude, he's like right there. He's so close to seeing God, man. You know, hey, you know what? When you think of hell, you think of demons. You know what? You know what else comes to mind besides hell? Heaven. Boom. There you go.
That's pretty much the premise, is that they're fighting over the fan bases, and the main arc is Rumi overcome. The main theme of the film is shame, because we both have Rumi, the fact that she's part demon, the shame of her birth, and having to hide it throughout all of her life, and how it affects her in her relationships, and with not just her friends, it's also her fans and also her manager. It's just affecting everyone. And then we have a Genu establishes a connection with Rumi because he kind of, during a fight, he finds out about her half-demon nature, and he kind of gives a partial truth that we get a later full truth of it about how he became a demon, which has a element of shame tied to it. To it, and essentially that's kind of the driving force of this plot. And it's about overcoming that shame.
Yeah.
Like it's a very simple plot and very straightforward, but it's so well done. Like I know Serena and Bobcat had complaints, a little bit of a criticism, not complaints, criticisms that Mira and Zoe didn't get enough focus compared to Rumi and stuff. And it's
not really their story.
I don't see that as a problem because they were already great as the side characters. Like the main character is Rumi, and like the focus is on Rumi and Genu. They are the drivers.
It's like getting mad. It's like getting mad that Luke Skywalker is getting too much stuff in A New Hope.
It's like getting mad that like one of the turtles in Ninja Turtles has the spotlight on them. Well, it's like, well, yeah, you know, like they are a squad, and you know their personalities are well defined. It's just you know, it's always great to just focus on one character instead of spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah, and like this film is clearly not meant to be an ensemble film. Which is like, if this was an ensemble film, I would definitely agree with that criticism. While we get a little bit of a hint of some personal issues that Mira and Zoe has, mostly for the ending to how that kind of happens. They are more of their characters are more based on the relationship between each other and with Rumi and the consequences of Rumi's actions because of her shame. Because it was because of her shame that she pushed the Golden album quicker than maybe they should have done that, which puts strain on her voice, which then exacerbates the problems with the Saju boy. Wait, Saju or Sanji? Saji.
The
My brain is not. Saja. The Saja boys. So I really like the and the best description of it's just tight. Like
It's
the only maybe plot hole is just how the ending works, because of course this is the final battle and they end up killing off the demons, but and it's like, wait, and it's in front of the audience, like, wait, does the audience know that they
That's not really a plot hole.
Holy shit! Holy shit! These women are killing another boy band in front of us right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's more of like something you do like a how should have ended video.
Yeah, it's not really a plot hole. It's just like a funny idea. It's like, oh man, it's like, so they straight like just walking out the stadium. It's like, so those girls just straight up killed those guys, right? Oh yeah, no, they committed murder. We should arrest them.
Yeah, it's more of like it really depends if there was going to be a sequel and if they kind of lean into explaining stuff. If this was probably like a TV series, they probably could have done that. But like with the focus of this film, it's like we can understand like either way the audience just assume that it's all either part of the act, or they realize this is an actual demon and they hailed him as hero. It's not.
Doesn't really matter.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's just a minor problem.
It's just a minor qualm. No, it is clear that I have defeated you in intellectual combat. Hand over your channel and your ass.
So, like, in terms of plot, really good, and the
I'll
characters
be
are
right back. I gotta restart my computer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and characterizations is fantastic as well.
It's solid.
Like, all the girls are likable. I liked Bobby too.
Bobby's fine.
And like very also tied to the plot, like tied to the main theme too, in a different aspect. Junie was also great.
Yeah, I thought it was just a very solid film. I thought it was solid.
The highlight though, the two highlights of this film that people will never shut up about. One is the music, aka the cocaine.
Cocaine.
It's musical cocaine.
It's good music. I won't deny. I like the music.
It's like it does what the musical numbers do, where it progresses the plot while being a good song.
I mean, the movie's pretty much that, a musical.
It is. Yeah,
it's a musical. So like it has the same elements of a musical. It uses music the same way like musicals would. It's like it's a musical, and the music's.
But there's some musicals that just use random songs that don't necessarily tie directly to the story. In type of ways, it's like it's a little bit more disjointed.
Well, you know that's their fault, really. So
yeah,
but no, it's
but the other big one, the animation.
Yeah, the animation's fun. I will agree. Animation's fun. It's very much so. This is by Sony Animation. So you watch it like it's very like you see everything in motion. It's very much like it's like it's a similar way they animated the Spider-Verse movies. Like it's 3D animation, but they purposely like animated it like in a certain frame rate to like kind of mimic sort of the feel of like 2D animation. So like it's very much it's very much like the Spider-Verse animation. It's I
would say this is smoother though than at least the first one.
I
think it helped.
Well, to be fair, right? Like Sony Animations has done quite a bit now since Spider-Verse, so like they probably were able to like really improve upon what they did with Spider-Verse. That's I don't want to say though. It's just kind of interesting to think about that. Like Spider-Verse was like really cool. Like it's not necessarily revolutionary with this style of animation, but like it definitely like set a new kind of like trend
standard. Yeah,
I don't want to say standard. It's more of a trend where now, like you see that kind of same style like in a lot of 3D animated stuff now. Where it's like to purposefully cut frame like limited frame rate to mimic the 2D animation, but with the
I like the animation. I like the use of halving the frame rate for animation.
Yeah, Rick, that's the term I'm looking for. Halving the frame rate.
Yeah, like just like lowering the frame rate. That's for the animation. The Spider-Verse, the Spider PS5 games tend to do that. Would do that with their Spider-Verse suit. It does look a bit jarring because you have like two frame rates kind of battling against each other. But But one thing that I do want to mention that I really appreciate about it is Dollman in Death Stranding 2.
Oh.
He moves at half the frame rate because he's supposed to be like a marionette.
Yeah, but no, I saw the stuff with Dollman. It's kind of cool because it kind of makes it look like stop motion.
It does, yeah.
I think that's just really cool. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I didn't get the.
Uh-huh.
I am so surprised that they did the half frame rate on this one because it didn't feel like this was like a Spider-Verse. It was so smooth watching it.
No, it's not Spider. Again, it's like it's more or less kind of like a modern trend with a lot of anime stuff nowadays, because Spider-Verse made that pretty popular, and now everyone kind of likes to do that, lowering the frame rate with their animations as well. And it's not bad. It's not bad. I will say though, it is kind of interesting because this is kind of it's sort of this sort of thing where one movie sets a trend and everyone does the same trend, and then eventually it gets to the point where now you see that in a lot of stuff. It's oh yeah, it's like the Spider-Verse style of animation. It's not necessarily something that when I see it's I'm gonna get tired of it per se, but it's more at this point it's yep, they're doing the Spider-Verse sort of thing. Because
I more noticed of what they did other stuff. They did a lot more just the expressive work. They put in so much effort on making everyone's expression in every scene just what they want, and it's usually ridiculous. I'm thinking of the part where they first block up and the Sanji boys are on stage and they're doing hee 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 hee.
Yeah, it's
those faces. It was what? Who would approve? Part of me is just thinking, who on the staff would approve that style of animation? Because if it was in previous times and not this film, it would be cut because it's too goofy to look at, to take him seriously.
Well, no. Well, it's just something you do with animation. You get the freedom to exaggerate things. It's like a cartoon, because that's what it is. It's like cartoon. You do cartoon face Looney Tunes. It was animes type of exaggerations. They get the freedom to do that. You can't really do that that much with live action. You could do that with animation. You could exaggerate proportions and all that, and then that's how you can highlight really funny comedic moments, but at the same time you could also then really push the emotional moments as well. That's the beauty of animation, baby.
Well, yeah, I get that, but even then, I'm just thinking of if Pixar have done that, if it's more of if to me it just feels like this project specifically they were allowed to.
I don't think it's necessarily
cut more loose.
Well, I don't think it's necessary. No, well, hold on. I don't think it's necessarily a limitation sort of thing. It's more of a creative choice. So okay. The super exaggerated faces they use here for the comedic moments wouldn't work as well in something like Transformers 1, where Transformers 1 is clearly going for a very different thing. So it's not.
It also has a very radically different art style.
True. So
limits.
Yeah. So it's really not. It's not necessarily limitations. It's more just creative choices made behind certain decisions. Here, you got a very cartoony, kind of anime-ish sort of art style. Also, because of that, then you have the ability to then really go all out with the with how it's portrayed. You get some very creative moments, ooh, exaggeration.
Ooh,
but then something like that wouldn't work in some other stuff. Like for example, like something like Toy Story. Maybe like something like Toy Story. Maybe you could get away with a little bit of exaggeration, but at the end of the day, like because they're trying to go for a specific thing, like these are like plastic figures. Plastic figures aren't necessarily going to be like have their eyeballs like bulging out their sockets like ooh. So like it's creative choices. So so limitation's not really like the word I would use to describe it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just partly tiring, but yeah, that was just so much fun. Is where the animators were allowed to have that they were given the opportunity to spread their comedic creativity when it comes to facial expressions and even the action scenes they had in this film.
Oh, action's great. They got some good choreography. Well, because choreography in general is really good. Because not only do they have to choreography the fights and stuff, but then also because they're essentially like this big like K-pop idol group, they also have to then also have choreography for the characters in like actual like dance numbers and stuff, and it's really neat.
All while trying to also have that to tell a story, a broader narrative.
Yeah, it's like it's like a musical, baby.
I don't really want to spoil what goes on to it, because I actually want Matchstick and not to actually see it, and also the audience, and I don't really want to do a spoiler segment. This is like a film that your best experience with some of the songs is just going into it more blindly, and plus this is part of the fun of this musical is you experiencing the show.
Yeah.
As opposed to kind of dissecting, like you can dissect the story. Like this story is a very good dissectable story, but it's not the main. Like that's not the goal. As opposed to our next film, I would say.
Hold on, can I just say real quick before we move on?
Okay.
I just want to say this. So, it's kind of this is kind of a funny moment. While in the middle of watching the movie, we got to the part where not really a spoiler, but like it's a very light spoiler. So there's this part where like the girls are like, oh we gotta expose the boy band as the demons they really are. It's like, well,
oh yeah, those facial expressions.
So
like,
okay, that's funny and all, but also they're like, okay, so you know what we could do? How do we expose their demons? Diss track. Of course, genius. We're gonna write a diss track, and like they're having like trouble like writing a diss track. It's just funny because like, well, obviously you girls aren't having trouble with writing a diss track because you don't have enough hate in your heart. and then it's just funny because I was saying that to myself. It's like you gotta have the like if you're gonna make a diss track, you gotta have the same amount of hate Kendrick has for Drake. And it just got me thinking about the whole Kendrick versus Drake thing again, and then that got me into and then I had to pause the movie because I ended up going down this tangent of just basically listening to Kendrick's songs again. So that was kind of funny. I'm just gonna say this again. Sure, not like us. Great bop, banger song. But if you really want a song that really like shows just how much like hatred Kendrick had for Drake, you listen to Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams. That's like a whole nother level. Like not like us is fun, but Meet the Grams. That's the one song. That's the moment that like everyone's like, no, Kendrick won this beef. There's no way Drake's coming back, and Not Like Us was just dancing on the grave. So, speaking
of dancing on the grave,
well, I don't know if they. Well, I don't know if they were dancing on the graves back in oh my gosh, what is it? Was this Iraq?
This is Rambi.
Ramadi. That's Iraq, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Iraq.
I'm pretty sure
is
Ramadi's Iraq.
I don't know if the Iraqis were dancing on the Navy SEAL soldiers' graves and all that. I don't know. I wasn't there.
They did with the local leader. I bet they did with the local leader that got blown up.
Well, that's
local soldier.
Well, that's on them. But at least in this movie, I didn't see any of that happening. But hey, Warfare was pretty cool though.
Yeah. So this film is actually sort of a personal memoir by one of the directors, Ray Mendoza.
Mendoza, yeah.
Mendoza, yeah.
Mendoza.
Ray Mendoza.
Apparently, he and Alex Garland, who has also worked on this film, met during doing Civil War.
Yeah.
Ray Mendoza was one of the number of people who helped with the helped consult the military.
The military sequences, like the whole sequence in DC where the soldiers are storming DC, like the third act. That's like Ray Mendoza right there.
Yeah, so they decided to work together on a story, and what they came out is such an interesting way. It all takes place in basically 2 days.
2 days.
In one building.
Pretty much.
And there's not really much of a typical story of 3-act structure. Other than, like...
Oh, were you gonna say not?
I was just gonna say the minute in pretty much the way the film is structured is the minute it starts from like first time we get to see the boys to the very last the very last moment of the film. Of course, there's liberties taken for time, but all of it is presented in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So like it like the battle, that skirmish was as long as the movie was as it was in real life.
Yeah. I also want to say it's just kind of funny for me because Warfare was the movie I watched. That's an Alex Garland directed movie, but like this is the movie he directed right after Civil War, and I do not like Civil War. Civil War is not like a bad. Well, okay, it's not a bad movie in the sense like it's like objectively like a trash movie. It's more of a movie that I left watching with like just the most sour mood. Like, gosh, I hated watching that.
All I can add about like Civil War is it really is a movie that wanted to talk about things while really saying nothing. Because we don't get this does the opposite of Civil War, where it's like we actually get to we get to see everything through the soldiers, more than just a third person perspective.
Yeah, and I would say I'm not sure. I'm still trying to think about like the overall point because it's not as obvious as most likely Civil War is.
I think the point of the movie is just like to showcase the experience as is.
That's partially I would say yes, and I would definitely agree with you. Though there is probably some. I'm thinking more of like the last shot, right? Where the Bradleys left.
I think
the guys got out.
I think it's
and then.
Okay, so for me,
Let me finish up.
Okay.
Yeah. Let
me
him
finish up.
Let him finish. Yeah.
All right.
It ends up with the guys coming out, looking there, and they're overlooking the body of the dead Iraqi soldier who was blown up right when everything was about to go. Everything was going down crap hole. It could be like a little bit of a commentary just about the aftermath about those deployments in some sense. It's like nothing in a sense got done long term.
So maybe it is like a slight commentary thing. I think more or less it's just I think it's kind of the ending's like vague enough where like you could get some like commentary out of it, but I think it's also just still part of like just showcasing events as it was. Like sure, the SEALs got out and they were able to leave, but then you're just left with what's afterwards, and that's just how it. I think the whole movie really is just like you see the stories presented as objectively as it could, like obviously because it's based off of one person's experiences, there could be some subjectivity to it, but it's like I think the whole point of the movie is
wasn't just
trying
one
to
soldier.
Well, it's mostly based off of Ray Mendoza's experiences, and then alongside anyone else who survived that was willing to collaborate with the movie.
The way I look at the film, it feels more like a confessional than it.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily it's not necessarily a reflection of what Mendoza and Alpha One kind of view the war as. Just mostly just down to a moment during this battle where their platoon, which the beginning kind of just exemplifies, is like these people, these guys are thick as thieves. They are willing to goof off a bit. They are not. They're not at each other's throats, but they are still very professional in their works when it came to the mission. And then it just shows I think part of my thinking also is the ultimate theme I'm thinking of is more about what happens when everything goes to crap, even though you did everything right. Because we had people where you have people like Eric. I'm not sure if he's named after the real person or it's just the character name.
I know some of most of the names had to be changed.
Miller, one of the guys who got blown off, he and Mendoza are named after their real life people. Everyone is an alias for because they wanted to be anonymous.
Yeah, but anyway, so Eric, who is the commander on this one, used to see him acting very professional, acting like he knows what to do. But as soon as the explosion happened, he's just out of it, and basically had to wait until the Alpha 2 squad comes in, and he basically relieved himself of command.
I mean, that's a very human thing to happen, though. There's everyone's if they're not dead, everyone just got what was really cool is how they portrayed the aftermath of the IED, how it's not just a one-time thing where everyone's still reeling, it rocked everyone to the core. They're all oh my gosh, oh.
you got the flashbang effect, like the momentary tinnitus. Like just everything is covered in smoke and debris. Like it gives that feeling. It gives a feeling of adrenaline because like everyone in the middle of there, like who. Okay, everyone in the middle there, who like it's just everyone's just silent because nothing, the pain hasn't set in yet, and then by the time they get out of the cloud and towards the house, the soldiers whose legs just got blown up just are just screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. Another thing that. Oh no! The weirdest thing when watching this film for me, it was the sense of calm while watching it. Despite like being in a tense situation and seeing like I did wince a bit, but seeing some of the gore, right? Partly because I'm not a paramedic. Like I bet my older brother, who is one, can watch this without any problems, because he's studying on that. But it's still like, even despite that, I was still feeling like just calm. I wasn't getting like excited, but yet I'm not feeling anxious. Because of the events of the story. I was actually just calm.
That's something that I can actually like what's the right word?
Relate?
Like relate, yeah. Relate to you because well, I did feel a bit anxious because I just like after the whole after the IED going off, and I did kind of thought to myself, it's like these men, these men, they got their legs blown off, and it's not standard procedure to and it's not normal procedure to move someone who's on the ground bleeding out. So but like you have to get them out of there, so it's because it's an active war zone. But like I relate to that feeling of just like I'm just feeling calm.
Yeah. The most anxious I had while watching the film was at the beginning when they were in the house. Have everything prepared just because I know crap is going to go down. When is it going to show up? Because like this film did make you feel so long, the length of like.
There's just a good chunk of the movie that's just calm and silence in the house, and then as soon as the grenade gets thrown in, everything changes. So, I also want to say, for me, I don't think calming is the right word. At least for me, I would use more like. I think after like the grenade and all that, the IED, I think afterwards I think calming's not the word I think more like just hyper focused is how I would say. At least for me, like I was just focused on everything going on, just taking it all in, nothing like oh I'm just gonna relax in my seat, just staring at the screen, like almost like no blinking, just focused on everything. I will also say, I think maybe the experience might be different. One, because I genuinely believe the theater experience actually legit heightens this movie more if you just watch it at home. So I haven't like fully rewatched the movie as it is on its own, on my own time. I've seen like clips of it here and there on like YouTube, but like the clips you see on YouTube does not do the sound design of this movie justice. Like, this movie very much needed, at least as far as I know, very much needs that theater like sound experience, because straight up, well, like sure, you know, the grenade itself is loud when it pops, but then as soon as one of the soldiers starts firing the machine gun, that shit rocks like the entire theater. Like you don't get the same experience like just watching it on YouTube. Like the whole theater was like vibrating from the machine gun, just bum 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 bum. Like the sound is, and the sound design for the show of force, right, when the plane comes down and like just swoops between the streets, the theater like really enhances that experience. Like the show of force is as deafening as probably it's probably gonna be as close to as deafening as it was for the actual soldiers in the theater, in like the theater auditorium. Like I really do think this is a movie that just like you either had to be there to watch it in theaters, or if you got like, you know, like a theater like sound like equipment or whatever, like to really enhance the movie. I don't know if it's the theater itself or if it's like just how the audio is in the movie alone. But I really do think the experience would be different and heightened in the movie theater room. At least for me. Maybe that's why I was like, you know, more focused than anything else. So yeah, that's just me, though.
Alternatively, I think the moments that kind of grip me the most is those moments it switches to the A130. I know like nothing was gonna happen because they didn't have clearance. Obviously, you can't have clearance to fire, because you know that civilians are down there, like the troops are down there, so like there's a lot of casualties. You know, there's a lot of friendly casualties that could happen. But I think just seeing that sense of scale from that old camera, and just seeing how like because it feels sort of like in the same similar vein as like, you know, the news helicopters just following like just the bird eye view, just following like the APCs trying to make to the home.
Yeah, it was really...
I'm like,
oh no, go ahead.
Like, mention the AC-130 stuff. It's like one of I think my favorite part of the film was when Alpha 2 showed that, because it just showed like what these guys were at their peak and how professional, and apparently they had a lot of help training the actors to actually operate like the small squad teams, which was a cool thing to kind of see it in action. Is like, makes you kind of go, huh, like just the way they like can have guys out in the open, but they're still technically in cover, protected.
Yeah, it's really neat. I you know, I do also want to say also, I don't know about you, but after coming out of Warfare, it really just dawned on me just how much how much war as depicted in media has changed over time, especially like when you get to more contemporary like conflicts. Because you know how, because like for example, I remember when I came out of theaters, we had the whole talk about how like World War II is like this like big like almost romanticized conflict. Like everyone loves talking about World War II, you know. It's the good old it's like the go-to war where people want to talk about like it's the forces of good versus evil. Oh, Hitler, how dare you? But in how when you go to more contemporary conflicts, that perspective changes, and especially how like those events are depicted, and how like it's interesting how like especially now, with like more media out there kind of trying to showcase like conflicts in something like like the Middle East and stuff. How there's this shift from like that romanticization of World War II to something more, I guess, almost objective, with like the Iraq War and all that. Like
unless you're Michael Bay.
Well,
yeah.
That's a different sort
that's
of
a
thing.
different
But,
sort of thing.
what was I gonna say? Like for example, like Generation Kill. Like if we're talking like TV, Generation Kill is like a completely different beast compared to like Band of Brothers. So,
They both like they tonal wise they feel very different, but like they both kind of deal with the aspect of these men are very in a very like a very dire situation, and then like they need each other, like they need each other more than more than anything to just brave on to the next day. And that's a similar feeling you get from this film, whereas like these men need to risk their lives just to make sure the other gets out fine.
Good.
Because this isn't the we'll throw waves after waves of combatants, like how people kind of perceive these conflicts as being. It really is just a sense of the professionalism that these men show off also ties into the brother aspect. And the procedure.
Yeah. So I just find it like an interesting shift, because
So upset.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was about to end the segment because I'm getting
You're getting tired.
But like,
Okay.
yeah,
I do want to mention this really quick, and then we can end it just as I finish. If there's anything that you can draw from the movie, because I know I know that there are some people online who have kind of chosen to blind themselves to everything and kind of view this as a dude bro movie. Because
I would not classify this as a dude bro film.
It's not, no.
Because dude bro has this way of talking. Like, these guys are super professional, which I appreciate. I appreciate this like being super like as realistic as possible with a film.
Exactly.
Like, even with them just using actual military jargon, did I understand it immediately? Do I no? Do I understand it completely now? No. But I get the gist of it.
Exactly. But I do think that another thing that you could extrapolate from this film is like sort of the idea of bystanders.
Yeah.
because like compared to like past wars, where a lot of people, you know, a lot of people, you know, had to migrate because they were told ahead of time, like, you know, there's going to be you know, that like this town is going to be a war zone. You know, you need to carry what you can. You know, try to see what you can bring with you, and then leave to safer location. A lot of people of this region, you know, of a lot of these conflicts, they'll just stay put. You know, because they don't have lives else. These are These are the only lives they've ever known. So like
the Middle East is not a place that is very consistent in terms of you can't like moving from one city to another is very much a permanent thing because it's just better to be in this one area despite the season as opposed to constantly being on the move. Because there's not a lot of currently, this is partly due to climate change, partly due to just centuries of human development on the region. It's not that very much easily access to huge amount of resources.
Exactly. So when Alpha One has to seizure this house, you know, just take over in order to check out if there's for signs of insurgency. There is that sense, you know, there is that sense of like, you know, breaking down the wall to get to the separate apartment. Just invading these people's lives, and it's not a sense of like, you know, they're bad for doing this. Not like it's just a sense of these men did not want to just intrude into these people's lives. But this conflict is just here. And you can make up your mind as to who should be responsible for that, but like the film, you know, has a very deft hand, which it just kind of just showcases. This is just how these conflicts are. These conflicts are just going to have to be. Like just you know, one side, like, you know, one side is using the cover of this town to set up their operations, and so another side has to also covertly get inside to recon, and then there's a whole big conflict that pops up, and then just as like evac arrives, it's you know, snap a finger, it's just over, and it's like as much as like the U.S. soldiers want to help, it's like right now they can't devote enough resources to help these people restart their lives. So there is that sense of just, you know, this battle happened at the blink of an eye. And you can make up your mind as to who really is just who can be culpable for it, but in the end of the day, there's just how it be.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great film.
It's
I highly recommend people watch it. And with that, I have to head to bed. So have a good night, guys.
Have a good night, my man.
Yeah, man.
Good night.
Actually, you know, I just got reminded though. It's actually kind of funny because earlier this week, I remember I this is somewhat still sort of related, but not really. I just remembered earlier this week I actually tried to go back and rewatch 13 Hours, and I haven't finished rewatching 13 Hours yet, but I just find it funny that like Mr. Bay is kind of a funny director to me now because there are just moments in his movies I can immediately recognize as, oh, that's just straight up a shot reused from a previous movie. In this movie, in his movie about the Benghazi attack, I couldn't help but notice like there's a certain sequence, even if it was like just for like 10 seconds, like that's straight up the same 10-second sequence from Revenge of the Fallen. It's just kind of funny to me. It's like even in a movie about the other 9/11 attack, he can't escape Transformers. It's like, try as he might, Transformers will always come back to him. And how fitting, isn't it, that now if the rumors are true, he's finally returning. It's Transformers is like the Green Goblin mask from Michael Bay. It's like, you want
and when he needed, and when it needed him the most, he returned.
It's like,
Michael Bay comes up like dressed up like Gandalf the White after he.
Even in his Benghazi movie, is like, you want to do Transformers. No! Please! Do the robots! Ah! Leave me alone!
I just saw John Turturro.
But it's just kind of funny. It's like, even in that movie, he can't help but
holy shit! John Turturro was pissed off by Transformers, and then the next one he's under the enemy's balls.
Oh, true.
Yeah. We need to round it out and get some woman representation for
exactly
John Turturro to be on
John Turturro ends up seeing the Transformer pussy. It's like, oh my... I'm directly below the enemy's camel toe. Oh no, go ahead now.
My face hurts.
Were you gonna say not?
I guess I was I was just gonna say remember when we found out like John Turturro, he spent that day just like in awe of the majesty, weeping over
over the pyramids.
The pyramids.
And then they had to film him pretending to be under robot testicles.
I imagine that's like he turns around and he's being finding it majestic, and then he just turns around and he goes under the enemy screen.
You know what? Maybe John Turturro cried twice that day. One over the majesty, and then the second time he had to cry over. The second time he cried, it's like Ian McKellen in the green screen. It's like he's just crying over. He had to pretend he was under robot balls.
He first cried over the beauty of the pyramids, and then he cried over the beauty of the enemy's scrotum.
Exactly. I mean, anyways. Oh, go ahead, no?
I was just gonna say a movie that, like, if you haven't seen already, Changes, I think you should give the opportunity to see is Jarhead.
Jarhead? Oh, I've seen Jarhead.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've seen Jarhead. It's been a while though. But yeah, I remember Jarhead. It's got Mr. Gyllenhaal, the hit actor of Ambulance. It's the new Michael Bay Transformers movie is what's gonna be bringing the money for Ambulance 2. Yeah, I can't wait.
So,
Yes.
City Hunter.
City Hunter.
I've only seen 6 episodes so far, so there's a bit of a first impressions.
Okay. Is Mr. Gyllenhaal in City Hunter?
I mean, he could play Breeze Saiba, and I wouldn't be opposed to it.
You wouldn't be opposed to it? Alright.
There was a French guy, he made a French sort of City Hunter movie called Nicky Larson and the Cupid's Perfume. Because that's what they call him over there. They call him Nicky Larson.
Nicky Larson.
It's like one of those one. It's like,
oh
yeah.
Sorry.
No, see.
I was just gonna say like because City Hunter is just big in Europe, in France. So like this guy who he grew up loving City Hunter. So like he was a regular director, actor. From what I heard, he's sort of like France's version of Adam Sandler. He directed and starred in his own adaptation of City Hunter that got that got the approval of the mangaka.
Oh really?
From what I hear, it's actually it's a pretty on point movie.
It's a pretty on point movie, and it's also really good.
Oh, okay. All right, interesting.
Maybe after I finish the TV show, I'll go in and do a dessert of Nicky Larson.
But what is City Hunter about though? Because this is like one of those things you hear about, like you see it all the time, but I don't know what it's actually about.
I from the poster, the single, I knew the name City Hunter, and I had an idea. It's like it's some kind of maybe a crime thriller or something like that. I saw a poster once, it's looked very serious, and then maybe it was released recently, or maybe just put up on my recommendation. But I ended up seeing an Almighty Lollies video on it.
Oh, I didn't know you had a City Hunter video. Okay.
Yeah. It is not what I expected at all. It's well, I mean, half it is. Half of it kind of is. Mm-hmm. And the other half is the main character being a massive horn dog comedy.
Oh, okay. All right. Half of it is him just wanting to get in the pants. It's just I see
him just really, really liking women. And the escapades that result from that.
Oh, okay.
One of his rules is that he doesn't take He doesn't. I think one of his rules. I haven't seen this in a TV show, but I got it from the Almighty Lollies video. Is that he only takes job. He's kind of like a mercenary.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like and he only takes jobs from beautiful women.
Okay. It can only be.
And it is kind of like half horn dog comedy, and the other half is like a serious neo noir.
Really?
It's more often horn dog comedy, but it actually could flip on a dime. It'd be actually very good neo noir sort of.
Really?
Crime stuff like it. It's actually pretty good at that. It can be a bit cheesy at times, but it actually is very good at that. It does evoke tones very It stars Ryu Saiba, the best. They call them sweepers,
Alright.
but gunman in Tokyo. Was it Tokyo? Osaka.
Yeah, it is Tokyo because like
Okay. The best gunman in Tokyo. And then he has his partner, but his partner ends up dying a few episodes into the series. So he has to take his partner's adoptive sister, Kaori. I think that's her name. Let's see here. Yeah, Kaori.
hey,
Mikimura. Who she's sort of like a tomboy, like she does get stuff done, and she's supposed to turn into his assistant later on.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, shit, I forgot. There was actually a Jackie Chan City Hunter movie.
Really?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm looking this up right now.
Genghis, have you ever seen clips or pictures of like a Jackie Chan, him like in Street Fighter costumes?
What does Street Fighter have to do with City Hunter?
There's an entire section in the Jackie Chan movie where he's facing off against a henchman.
Why is he dressed up as Chun-Li?
He's dressed up as Chun-Li. He's dressed as like damn, I'm blanking out on the name. American guy.
Oh my gosh, I think I know who you're talking about. Oh my gosh, who's the American guy? Guile!
Guile, yeah, like he's dressed up like Chun-Li, he's dressed up like Guile. Like
Does he got the hair as well, like Guile?
I remember him having the hair.
That's great. Oh my goodness.
From what I hear, it's more like a standard. It does have a lot of City Hunter aspects, but it's more of a standard Jackie Chan fighting movie with a City Hunter themed dress up. And there's also a Korean City Hunter television show that's in name only.
Ah, I see.
The Korean show kind of takes itself a bit too seriously.
From what I hear, it's like just completely unrelated. With only having the name City Hunter.
Wow.
Like it's like some kind of political drama.
It's like a political drama.
But City. The horn dog jokes are really funny because it can be really funny because he is it's not just slap, get away from me, you. Sometimes he actually scores the girls.
Wow. Okay.
So,
good for you.
Which is nice. It is kind of like, you know, he goes after panties and bras and flirts with them relentlessly. Like, it's probably one of the better. It's like probably one of the best. It is probably one of the better versions of that because it actually got me to, like, you know, have a little grin while seeing it.
All right, I see.
But it is a lot like that.
I guess you're gonna miss
And then
out on the panty raid. I just.
There was a scene of him. There was a scene of him.
Uh-huh.
He was hired to help an actress. This is the episode I just saw. And he goes in there, and the first thing he sees is a penny box. So to it, it's just like happily just like throws it like in celebration of getting to it.
Uh-huh.
I think it's kind of, it's funnier if you see it.
Okay.
And then you get like the neo noir stuff, like the assassination of his partner. That whole episode was not too much porn dog jokes and more crime thriller stuff, and that was fun.
All right.
Like there's a scene where he shoots through himself to kill a guy.
Okay.
I'm not sure it was killing the guy, but he did beat him. But I am still I find this fun, but I do feel like I'm still too. It's episodic and it is kind of slow at rolling out the main aspects. It's kind of taking its time with that. So there isn't too much for me to say.
Okay.
I kind of said as far as I've gone.
All right.
But I do know there's there's a sort of alternate universe sequel series called Angel's Heart, where it's Kaori. She dies, and then a Taiwanese assassin gets like her spirit comes to her, and she has to go to Japan and like do stuff to. All right, not you. Probably know more about this than me.
So like the main crux of City Hunter is Rio, despite being a massive horn dog, he later falls in love with Kaori. So like by the end of the series, they're all they're an item. So like Angel Heart is just the spin-off. It's just the spin-off like alternate universe where like during their wedding, Kaori gets hit by a car.
Wow.
She just. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so, no, continue. I'll say it after I finish.
She just dies, and a Chinese assassin that goes by Angel Heart is in need of a heart transplant. Ironically, and like she is in possession. Like she gets transplanted with Kaori's heart. So there's a bit of a supernatural, some supernatural sense where where like Kaori's heart supplants memories of like Rio. Because it's like, she even in death, she still like deeply cares for Rio. And then just like Rio, he's just like sad, just depressed.
Okay. I see. Oh, it's me.
But we need another spinoff where Kaori ends up in a isekai from getting hit by a car.
She gets isekai. Okay.
But Angel's Heart, it's fun. There really isn't as the first impressions, it's really fun. I kind of expect more of this, and then I'm like that. Very episodic, sort of a slow moving sort of relationship between the characters. It's cool.
Okay. Neato. Actually, it's funny. I just got reminded of something. Actually, I wish Ninja was still here, but because I don't know. I don't think he'll find it, but I think it's funny. So real quick, just circling all the way back to the first topic. That one character from that K-pop movie was the name of Bobby. Turns out he's voiced by Ken Jeong, and I recognize Ken Jeong as the guy from Dark of the Moon who got flung out the window by Laserbeak. so I just think, oh wow, Deep Wang got isekai'd into the K-pop movie. Good for him. At least he doesn't have to deal with Sentinel taking over the city.
A bit about the mangaka for City Hunter, Tsukasa Hojo. He's a remarkable artist, or creator, because before this he worked on Cat's Eye, which Cat's Eye is about to run down shortly. It's about three sister cat burglars who their father created priceless art that was taken by the evil dictators of the 20th century. And so these sisters have decided to steal back all of his art.
Okay.
Because it's their father. It's his property. That included Cat's Eye included a character in there that kind of became a prototype of Rio. Whereas he lust after the three sisters, and they put him into wacky shenanigans. Hojo, his protege was Takehiko Inoue, who is the mangaka for Slam Dunk.
Slam Dunk.
It is a great sports manga about a guy who initially wanted to play basketball because he wanted as the kids call it, riz up this girl he likes, because she really likes basketball players. So he joins basketball so that he can, one, get the girl, and two, because he really thinks that the slam dunk is the coolest thing ever, and he wants to do one. And the entire series is a bit comedic, where it's he kind of learns, man, basketball's a lot of work, and then it turns into this a great sports manga where he learns deep down inside, if I train hard enough at this, and I improve myself, I could become a much better player than I think I could be. We could. And Inoue also wrote Vagabond, which is a great it's a great manga about it's a fictional portrayal of mo- why am I blanking on his name? Yeah, Musashi Miyamoto's life.
Oh, okay.
Like Vagabond like just a really good a really good drama manga.
Okay.
Historical drama manga. He's also great friends with Tetsuo Hara, who is who is the artist for Fist of the North Star.
Oh, okay.
There, I know. Hojo created a character for the Fist of the North Star, the Legends of the True Savior film. The character Reina. So like this is someone who he's had an impact, even though like some people would consider him like he would be considered like unknown here in the United States, but like he has a very huge impact. And like City Hunter, it's a very good like episodic show of just like it has that I think a good way to describe it would be like it's very close to like Miami Vice.
Oh, interesting.
Where like it is like well a lot of people think Miami Vice is a lot goofier. Because it was the 80s. You were just you everything was just heightened back then. But like Miami Vice had its moments where because it was created by Michael Mann. It has its moments where it's like it takes itself very seriously and it has like some noir themes there. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Peter, relax. How am I supposed to relax? Christmas is tomorrow, and that woman who normally does everything will help her sick and to something.
I'm sorry, I brain fart. But yeah, I like Rio. He's a great protagonist because he rides the line between just being a fool and like he's being like this perverted fool and just like this really badass character because he's just an expert marksman with every single gun he holds. His preferred gun is just a Colt Python, and of course he chambers that with 357 Magnum, so there's going to be some holes, some major holes in the people he shoots.
Okay, good for you.
So,
all right.
So he's got he's got like a big ass revolver. So and it's like it's a really great it's a really good series.
All right. Neat.
One thing I do want to mention. It's related. Because I don't know how much of the reception of the Jackie Chan film is to like Japanese audience. All I know is that Ingen Tama just like this they had a joke in one of the episodes where the characters were just like shooting, and it like I believe it was like they were taking a test, and a lot of the test answers was how bad how bad the Jackie version of City. I'm just reminded of that.
Oh, that's great. Oh, it's just me. Well, oh my goodness. Yowzers. Alright, neato. Alright.
Right. So what's so?
I just wanted to ask if there was anything. I just wanted to just make sure if there was anything else you wanted to say about City Hunter Matchstick.
You know what else came out in the 80s?
Why?
Transformers.
Yeah, that's true. That's finally you're talking in the 80s is something that came from the 80s. I understand. At last.
So, you guys. I hear Chang Nick. I hear you guys like those robots.
I do like the robots
from the 80s.
Perhaps
that are very.
Like you're just saying
that are very Japanese.
Speaking of Japanese, I found this little thing.
Oh my gosh.
Japan started to become Catholic in the 1500s by an Englishman named William Adams who hated the Portuguese and Catholic to convince the shogun to kill all Catholics. William Adams eventually became a samurai and married a Japanese woman and started a family. I don't know if that's true, but that sounds hilarious.
It is partly true.
Oh my gosh.
It's partly true. Is that what Shogun's about? Sort of? Like
that is what Shogun's about. It's
That's what Shogun's about? It's about the fucking white guy telling, hey, let's go kill the Catholics.
If the Protestants can't have Japan, then no Christian can.
Well, when is... Are they gonna make another season of Shogun?
Yeah. I don't know when it's gonna be released, but they've announced season 2.
Oh wow, okay.
But yeah, that's just Shogun. Like, Shogun is like the friendship of this English Protestant man and this Japanese daimyo, as they kick the ass of not only the Catholics, but every other stupid lord, so that he can become Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah.
Shogun's great. I love Shogun.
I like Shogun too. Oh, actually, one of the guy who plays Blackthorn Shogun, he was in Warfare.
Yeah, he was Eric.
Yeah. So
he was Miller. That was my fault. He was Miller. Eric was the guy who plays
Eric. Oh, Will Poulter was Eric.
Yeah, he's the guy who he's the guy who plays
Mr. Warlock.
Mr. Warlock. And also Luca from The Bear.
Oh yeah, true. Man, Eric in the middle of Iraq here, thinking he had a warlock. Yeah.
Don't be rash.
Let's not be rash. But yeah, what's his name? The actor's name though for Cosmo.
Cosmo Jarvis.
Yeah, Cosmo Jarvis. He was in Warfare, and Cosmo he plays the guy who goes to the Shogun and says, "Let's kill all the Catholics." So
He plays John Blackthorne. I love all those memes that people have done where it's like John, of the show where John would explain a concept, and then Mariko has to translate, and she's in conflict because she's Catholic. She has to translate to Torinaga.
I should probably show you Shogun sometime, Nick. It's a fun show. It's a fun show, but you know what? The Japanese also gave us the Transformers through toys like Diaclone and Microman.
However,
yes.
What we know is Transformers was developed by some other guy.
Yeah, exactly. This Jim Shooter guy. I don't know. He's probably not that big of a deal, right? He's probably not that big of a deal.
Tiny little baby Jim Shooter.
He's just he worked for that small company. What's it called? Marvel or something? I'm sure nothing's gonna really come out of that.
Allegedly, he also worked at another place called DC.
But nothing really is gonna be coming out of DC though. So. Real talk though. Was it? Gosh, his death was just announced this week.
Yeah,
it was this week, man.
3-4 days ago. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy, man. He was 73 years old. So that's wild, and it was cancer. It's at this point. I don't know. I shouldn't be surprised, but it's just every time you hear about a famous person or a popular person's death, you always hear oh, it was cancer. It's it's always cancer. It's always cancer for some reason. I don't know. Nowadays it's to hear someone die of a stroke. It's rare. Now the common thread is cancer. Oh, this guy, cancer. It's damn, that really sucks. But yeah. But no, Mr. Jim Shooter though was a very well-known man because he did he was a big name in the when it comes to being editor for both DC and Marvel. I don't know much about what he did. Basically, from what I hear about the way people talk about Jim Shooter, if you know most things about certain superheroes from Marvel or DC, it was probably came from Jim Shooter. It's if you go oh, that one story from a Superman, people will go, yeah, that was probably Jim.
Jim, oh my god, Jim Shooter, he was someone where he really is someone who he's influenced a lot of things. Obviously, the thing that people always love to the thing that he always loved to that people always love to bring up is he wrote Secret Wars.
Okay.
And that's where he didn't invent the black suit. That's kind of a misnomer, but he because the black suit was a fan submission. You know, just
Oh,
a fan.
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a fan. You know, like a fan thought, hey, that would be cool. What if Spider-Man was just in an all black suit?
Oh, I see.
So like Jim Shooter is like, you know, that would be rad. Let's put him in a black suit.
Oh, okay.
So he.
Was Jim still there when they changed from the suit to alien goop?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like he was editor in chief for quite a while. And Jim Shooter, not gonna lie, very controversial man. He's someone who as much as we did joke, it was like a tiny little baby Jim Shooter. Like Jim Shooter, very influential man on the comics industry. But he has made enemies, past and present. He had his fair share of allies and friends. But there is there is a sense of there is a sense of you either hate him or you love him. There's no
as a certified Jim Shooter enjoyer, I say I love him.
All right.
Especially after hearing about what he first did in Marvel Office. That's sold.
I don't. Jim Shooter. I'm pro Jim Shooter. You know, because sure he's made a ton of enemies in the office, but like Jim Shooter, he was a knacked businessman. He was the reason Marvel started becoming as big as it was, because he helped. He was the one he was the one who really kind of pushed the cult of personality around Stan.
Okay.
Stan. He's the face of our company. It's funny enough that Stan is just as recognizable to people, to comic and non-comic fans as the characters themselves, and that was really something that he kind of pushed for, because it's because Stan really was just the jolly uncle everyone had, who just wanted to tell you really cool stories. He also he created a method in the office called the bullpen, which was very controversial. Because he was he took no shit. He solved he helped cure the missed deadline issue, which was called the dreaded deadline doom.
The dreaded deadline of doom. Okay.
Under his tenure, Ching where most of the fondly remembered runs of comic books were a thing. He was the one who oversaw Chris Claremont and John Byrne on Uncanny X-Men, including Byrne on Fantastic Four. He oversaw Frank Miller on Daredevil. Walt Simonson on Thor. and Roger Stern on the Amazing Spider-Man. It's like
Mm.
this is a man where it's like, yeah, like he saw like the best, just
Mhm.
you know, right there, just do their craft
Mm.
right there. He also helped popularize the, like, he helped bring the comic book. Well, yeah, he helped bring like Marvel into specialty shops.
Ah, okay.
So like, like
Mhm.
comics, like the comic shops,
Mm.
the transition from like, of course, it's a controversial decision of like from the spinner rack to the specialty stores.
Mm.
Yeah. It was a thing, but it was something where at the time it was very profitable.
Mm. Okay.
Buongiorno. What can I get you?
I do want to mention like really quick because we are gonna get to Transformers. I promise. but like, of course, Jim Shooter. He was a hard ass. Like one of my favorite Jim Shooter stories is when he faxed a memo to everyone in the office. Because sales were down. He's like, he gave a notice of, hey, can everyone stop making shitty comic books?
Okay, that's kind of funny, but at the same time, if I was working for like Marvel at the time, I would be like, what a dick move. But at the same time, it's kind of funny. It's like, hey, you, make your comics not shit.
Do it or you're fired.
Do it or you're
Oh
fired.
shit! We need a parody movie where Jim Shooter's just Benson.
He's just Benson. It's like, oh, Jim, you're just in time for this cool comic. Yeah, well, guess what? If you don't make it good, you're fired. Yeah. But either way.
Chris Claremont goes like a, you know who else loves my cooking?
If you say your mom, you're fired.
If you say your mom, you're fired. Chris Claremont's like,
my mom, get out! It was worth it. That's great. But the point is, like, Jim Shooter is actually a big name for everyone who like is into comics, and I guess he was a controversial guy. You guys are pro Jim, so I will be the dirty fence sitter centrist. I'll be the centrist, the dirty centrist who's not a pro or against, just because I don't know that much about Jim. I'll be the dirty centrist. So
fucking mandated no gay people.
Okay. That's kind of interesting. Like obviously nowadays by current standards, that's like, okay, come on, Jim. But I just view it more like just like product of its time sort of deal.
He's like, he's like, North Star, you stay right in that closet.
You stay right there. But no, I choose to believe it's like a product of its time, because gay marriage was still not legal back then, right?
No. But
yeah. It's a product of its time. Now, of course, if that happened nowadays, then yeah, that's like, I don't know about that. But like back then, it's like it is what it is. That said, it is just kind of funny because Nick knows this. Me and Nick were watching a video, and apparently, like, if this is true, like, the story is that, like, the first, like, gay people in a Marvel comic was two guys trying to have their way with Bruce Banner. It's just funny because my first mind when I heard that, the process my mind went through wasn't, oh my gosh, you know, how could Jim, you know, have gay people portrayed that way? No, my mind went to, holy shit, why does Bruce Banner's life suck? Why does everything in his life go to shit?
Marvel presents top 10 worst lives. Number 1 will shock you.
Number 1 will shock you. Yeah, Bruce Banner tried to kill himself, and the Hulk wouldn't let him. It's like, gosh, Bruce, your life sucks.
I'm sorry,
To-
Red Corner, I'm not pirate.
Like,
You know, you start eating massage, paying bills, and you tell yourself,
like Matt Murdock, he's blind. All of his love interests die. Like, his when you got the Kingpin is on site when he's
Kingpin's on site.
You know, when he sees Daredevil, he's dead the minute he sees horns.
He's dead. I want his family dead. I want to go out of the house and piss on his ashes.
Kingpin just like pulls up to Karen's house. You tell that horn guy next time I see him, it's on site.
I like to imagine Wilson is doing fucking orange justice on Karen's grave.
Oh right, I keep forgetting Karen's dead in the comics. Because I'm thinking of fucking, you know, like the show Karen. That's where my mind's going. I'm thinking like the show, like the Daredevil show Karen. Like he just pulls up to the news station Karen's the newspaper, you know, place Karen's working at. And now it's like, next time you see horn guy, tell him it's on site. It just drives away.
And his number one ally, is an unstable anti-hero.
that's crazy.
It's just, ah! Ah! Yeah. But anyways, all that to say is Jim Shooter was a very influential person when it comes to comics, and like especially like Marvel and all that. And I'm sure he did his fair share of like really influential stuff with DC. But this related to Marvel though.
He started when he was like 17.
Yeah, so like around like 17. Yeah. So good for
13.
Oh, 13.
13.
So good for him.
I remember a story where so he got in because he was able to start writing Legion of Superheroes, and he got that to be popular. And then there would be stories of his editor would just be like, "Hey Jim, I want you to make it I want you to make it a new comic book that's like it's like Dirty Dozen." And Jim Shooter, being 13, never said. So we just bought a newspaper and read the review of it. And that's how you got Fatal 5.
Ah, interesting. Ah, good for Jim. But Jim was a very influential person and all that, especially in Marvel. And then so this is important to the story, this is important to the topic because around the time the 80s roll out, a certain toy company, I don't know if you heard about it, it's called Hasbro. They were coming to Marvel like, hey guys, Marvel, we need you to come up with some like cool like story ideas and etc. for our new toys. It's a little thing called Transformers. It's like and Jim's like, oh, what's it about? It's just about like these cars and like trucks guns, etc. Anything you can imagine that turns into a robot. Come up with something like that. And that's how you got Transformers. So obviously, like, when it comes to, like, Transformers, right, it has its roots with Marvel, because, you know, that's where, like, bunch of Marvel people were writing, like, the first ever, like, stories and ideas. Because like, the comics came before even the 1984 cartoon. Which is kind of funny to think about, how, like, you know, the Marvel comics and etc. was like your first introduction to Transformers, but then nowadays, right, the main thing that that, you know, continues to influence this franchise to this day is not the comics, but the cartoon, which was like a completely different beast from the comics. And it's just fascinating to think about. But and so, like, you know, when you think of, like, Marvel Transformers, a lot of people go to, you know, names like Bob Budiansky, you know, he was a pretty big name in Marvel too. I don't know much about what he actually did when it comes to Marvel. I just know him as the guy who wrote a lot, like, the character bios for, like, the Transformers and stuff. So that's, like, names like Bob Budiansky comes to mind, but the original, like, first ideas even conceived of Transformers actually came from Mr. Shooter over here. Mr. Shooter here, he was the guy who was like, yeah, I'm gonna come with Transformers, and like, and plus, like, knowing how, like, Transformers was back then and stuff, like, Jim Shooter probably wrote this maybe over one night. I don't know. He probably, like, sat down. Like, Hasbro came to him, like, you know, okay, write the thing. And it's like, he's just probably thinking to himself, I don't know, maybe he's just at home. He's talking to his wife. It's like, I don't know, there's a planet called, Cybertron. Yeah, that sounds good, right? Okay, let's just write that down.
He and Dennis O'Neil.
Oh, right, Dennis O'Neil.
They went together and they're like, okay, let's come up with a concept. It's like, okay, they're transforming. You know, they're you know, they are refugees of an alien world.
Yeah, it's like, what do we call the world? I don't know. How about Cybertron? Oh, that's a great name. I'm writing that down. Cybertron. And then it's like, okay, what do we call, like, so like, okay, so like, what, Hasbro's got, like, a bunch of, like, cars and trucks, and they got, like, some other stuff, like a gun and stuff. What do we do? What do we do about this? It's like, and, you know, it's like, oh, okay, here, all the military vehicles and anything that's not a car and a truck, evil. Okay, writing that down, and then the cars and trucks will be the good guys. There we go. And then, like, what do we call these people? Autobots. Oh, ooh, okay. What about the evil guys? Decepticons. Oh, genius. And then, like, a lot of the stuff was just probably, like, written on a whim, like, probably, like, overnight. But it's just kind of funny to think how, like, a lot of these, like, ideas probably came on a whim, and then they just ended up being, like, influential to something that's just lasted for 40 plus years now. So it's wild. So when the news dropped that, you know, Mr. Jim passed away, it was actually interesting, because this was actually legit the first time I even found out that, oh, you know, like, his like 8 pages of original Transformers, like, treatment is just out there on the internet. I was like, oh, well, I gotta see this now, because, you know, I've never actually read, like, the actual original ideas he had when it came to Transformers. So, like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to check this out, and I did, and it's interesting, to say the least. it's interesting, like obviously, right, basic stuff like Cybertron, Autobots, Decepticons, even, like, some of, like, the human names, like Sparkplug, the Spike, and all that. Like, they all came from Jim Shooter's treatment. And, like, you see, like, the bone, you see, like, you know, like, the root, the seeds of where everything's gonna be coming from. But at the same time, it's also kind of interesting how the way it was here, almost still feels somewhat different to considering how Transformers is like viewed and treated nowadays. So, I just figure I might as well just talk about it, right? Because I want to. So, so obviously, right. Cybertron. So I keep mentioning Cyber because that's literally the first thing that you see, like you read on paper. Civil war rages on the planet Cybertron. Like the first thing you hear when it comes to the original idea is there's a planet called Cybertron, and there's a war on it. Like of course, genius, wow. And then that's how we. And then he then goes on to introduce the world is inhabited by these robots called Autobots and Decepticons, and they're going to be the Transformers and all that. But what's kind of fascinating though is this is how you notice like the 80s and all that compared to like nowadays is how Transformers, the way Jim describes the Transformers and stuff, he likes calling them like life forms in like quotation marks. Like yeah, they're life forms, all right. Yeah, they're quote unquote alive because they're robots. They're not really actual alive. But it's just kind of funny to think how like that's how he was writing it, and that's how it was like for a while. But then like how nowadays, especially compared to like the latest thing you see in Transformers, like Transformers 1, like how that idea of like quote unquote alive has completely vanished. Like now, even though they're robots, everyone treats them as like their own like full on like living like species.
Like I think sort of an interesting aspect here is like obviously they kind of view Hasbro kind of viewed them as like, oh, they're robots because we got them from like Takara and they gave us like these mechs, these robots. But like at the time we didn't really know what mechs were because like at the very least like the closest anyone in America thought of a mech was like Jet Jaguar, like or if you're very old, Gigantor, like Fusion 28, or like if you're very like underground and cult, robot jocks.
Yeah.
So like this idea of like the giant robot, the mech, was not really something that kind of was popular. So like Jim Shooter and O'Neill like really seemed like they just envisioned these as more just aliens than like just robots. Of course they can change and they can shape shift, but like there are other aliens that can shape shift, like Johns. The Martian Manhunter. He's a classic example of that.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
What if maybe Martian? They were thinking of Martian Man.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe to a degree, because again, like it's just you gotta like it's just kind of interesting to think of like how like robots and like mechanical stuff was like viewed back then compared to nowadays, where like that's just like almost like accepted immediately. Like nowadays, like if you tell someone like think of like a robot and stuff, they'll probably more often not think of something like Transformers. So it's interesting how that came to be. That said, also another thing that's kind of funny is just how this is more of a thing for Transformers fans that will kind of get this. It's just kind of funny coincidence how when Jim Shooter is talking about Cybertron, he's talking about how like even the whole world of Cybertron is just metal, mechanical, and he was saying how like maybe there was like a quote unquote real world under Cybertron that it was like built on top of it, like maybe like it was a planet like Earth one time, but that's just gone now. It's just mechanical metal. And I think that's just a funny coincidence because, you fast forward a couple of years to the 90s in the show Beast Machines, they actually...
Actually, Beast Machines was actually the year 2000.
Oh, was it 2000? Oh, right. You know what it is? Because you know what it is, Nick? Because I'm thinking of Beast Wars, right? And Beast Wars was the 90s. But Beast Machines... So Beast Machines had the idea that Cybertron was actually straight up that. It was like is the mechanical world of the Transformers built on top of a once, maybe Earth-like planet. And that's just a funny coincidence because there's no way in hell the writers of Beast Machines knew about Jim Shooter's original idea. Because they were explicitly told by Hasbro, don't look up anything related to like Transformers or Beast Wars when you're writing your show. So just by sheer coincidence, they managed to come up with the same idea that Jim had. I think that's just neat. I just find that like such a fun, neat coincidence. So that's just...
I have to head out. You guys have a good night.
Alright, have a good night, Matchstick.
Good night, Match.
And there he goes. So there's that. So from that point on, right, you get to like the basic ideas that would come to define Transformers that still sort of is there to this day. He's talking about the Autobots, who are, the good guys, and he's talking about the Decepticons, who are the bad guys. And this is interesting where this is like, like early ideas, right? Where the Autobots and Decepticons, they weren't necessarily, the way Jim's writing them, they're not necessarily treated like separate like races per se, but more like separate like classes. Because they're thinking like robot, like in terms of robots, like it's the same way like they're talking about like how you describe like cars and vehicles. Like the Autobots they were just always meant to be like a car. They're the good guys because they were just always meant to be, these like peaceful guys. They like trade, commerce, travel and all that. They're just like that. It's not like they're like a separate race. They're just naturally like that. It's the same way like how like some cars are just built for one purpose, and it's how some stuff are just built for another purpose. And that's why the Decepticons are different. It's not Decepticons are evil because they were just built that way. They're just the military guys. They want to wage war. They want to just destroy everything. And it's not really anything advanced. But it's just but again, that's just so fascinating to look at like how back then compared to now, where once you like really try to like put these guys in the perspective like, oh, they're not just simply robots. They're like a whole like, other world, species, society, etc. Once you start, like nowadays, how like, oh no, like there's more to it than just simply, you're built that way. Like, again, like the most recent thing I can think of, like Transformers 1 is like way different compared to like how, like, I don't think Jim even ever imagined Transformers would become the way it is in Transformers 1. Like you don't have anything about, oh, Megatron's the way he is because, oh, Sentinel was a fucking asshole that, manipulated everyone. No. Megatron was always evil. He was just always a dick. Like, why was he a dick? He just is. Because that's just how Decepticons are. They just are built that way. And back then, they didn't think of anything else. Like nowadays, in the current way people view Transformers, especially Transformers fans nowadays, if you have that same idea for your new Transformers story, there's like whole like implications in there everyone would think about, like, oh, so what, is this like a race war or something? What's going on? But back then, no one thought about that. No one cared about, is this a race war or not? It's just, no, they're just like that. They're robots. So it's just, again, it's just interesting to see how, after 40 plus years, how much has changed. But at the same time, you can still see the roots of what was originally written. Autobots are still the good guys. Decepticons are still the bad guys. Autobots are still usually turning into like cars, trucks, and planes, etc., and all that, while Decepticons are usually still to this day mostly, military vehicles and all that. Oh, excuse me, wowzers. Oh my gosh. Sorry if I'm a little gassy. I had like 4 like cans of soda before the stream, and also like I had like I didn't eat anything all day because I woke up like really late, so I ended up having like for dinner / like really late lunch I had like 3 Big Macs. So, oh my goodness. By the way, that was not a cheap meal. McDonald's, especially over here, is too fucking expensive. But hey, it's close by, so hey. Anyways, so you move on through like script and stuff, and you still see how like the original ideas, for example, how again, Autobots and Decepticons, they're different. Decepticons are the war hungry guys. Autobots are mostly peaceful and stuff, and then you still get the idea that their war has just ravaged their homeworld to the point that they have no choice but to leave it. But what's interesting though is like the differences in the detail, where the reason why Autobots and Decepticons are leaving Earth in the original idea is like different compared to like nowadays, right? So the original idea that Jim and O'Neill, that Shooter and O'Neill wrote, was that their war has done so much damage to their planet that they have actually straight up just knocked their planet off like orbit, off course. It's a runaway planet. Right now, Cybertron is just floating somewhere, drifting endlessly in space. Like there doesn't orbit any solar system, any star, or anything. It's just floating out there, just like a runaway asteroid, just. And then, so, what's kind of interesting though is how when the Autobots leave Cybertron, it's not necessarily to like course correct Cybertron or anything like that. The way Jim described it, it just seems like everyone's just kind of, the Transformers have just kind of accepted that, yeah, our homeworld's just gonna be floating endlessly in space forever. Oh well, what are we gonna do about it? Who cares? Best we could do is just make sure it doesn't get destroyed any further. And so what's interesting is how the original idea was there's like an asteroid headed towards Cybertron that like is gonna threaten to destroy the whole planet. So Autobots leave to destroy the asteroid so that way Cybertron doesn't get completely wiped out of existence. And the Decepticons just attack the Autobots just because they're dicks. that's why is Megatron attacking Optimus and his guys in their ship? Cause he's a dick. He just hates those Autobots. He's like, oh, they're going to space. This is a perfect opportunity, so that way we could just kill them. Yes, genius. And that's just interesting because I don't. It's been a while since I read like the first issue of the Marvel comics. It might be a similar reason, but at least the reason that everyone goes to nowadays for Transformers, for why they leave Cybertron, came from the original cartoon, which was energy. The planet is just running out of energy, so they gotta leave the planet to find more energy to refuel it. And so like it's just interesting how like the original idea wasn't even that. It was just, oh, asteroid's coming. Let's just stop it from hitting our world and wiping off the face of the universe. And Decepticons attacked it not because they're trying to beat the Autobots to like get the energy for themselves. It's just no. They just want to do it because they're evil. They just wanted to attack them. So there's that. But either way, though, the result is still the same as like most Transformers stories. The Decepticons attack the Autobots, and then because of that, they end up crashing all the way down to Earth. and they're just stuck there on Earth for millions of years. They're just like either dead or like stasis or whatever you want to call it, like in a coma, whatever. Either way, the Transformers are just stuck on Earth for like millions of years, and then and until the present day, of course. In and by present day I mean 1984, a volcano erupts, and then bada bing, bada boom, the Autobots and Decepticons are awake, and they continue to duke it out. And that's like the broad stroke of thing that was, the same in the G1 cartoon, and that's just kind of how things are similar to this day. Sort of. Obviously, nowadays, everyone has their own spin and unique ideas of why the Autobots and Decepticons go to Earth, but usually it ends up being, for like energy reasons, like the cartoon. But it's just kind of funny how no one has really done the original Jim Shooter idea, which is just, oh, meteor's gonna crash into the planet. Better stop it. Oh no, the Decepticons are here because they're just jerks. Ah, well, we crashed on Earth. No one's really done that idea. Now it's always over like, like a struggle over something, either for like energy or, I don't know, minicons or whatnot. Who knows? Like, I don't think there's anything close to that idea anymore. No one really has to, it's a similar concept, right? That like something is threatening their home planet, that's why they gotta leave. But the reason, like the thing that's threatening their planet, kind of changes over the 40 plus years. I just think that's just really interesting. So there's that. Now, obviously, so there's also just a bunch of other little details here and there that was like completely changed. For example, for some reason, the original idea was the Autobots' ship wasn't gonna be called the Ark. For some reason, they were just gonna call it Auntie. I don't know why. I guess Jim and O'Neill just needed like a random ass name to call the ship. Like what do we call the ship? I don't know. Auntie. Okay, well, I'll just write it down, Auntie. But then they're like, well, Auntie sounds weird, cause then in the original like treatment, you could see like they wrote down Auntie, but then they clearly changed their mind and just cross it out with the Ark. So like they probably just want like a placeholder name, like let's just call it Auntie for now. And then it's like, oh, the Ark, like Noah's Ark. Oh, okay, we'll just call it that. So that's kind of fun. It's also interesting how they were calling how the Ark / Auntie was the name of the ship, but it was also the name of like the ship's like computer in a sense. And like I think the idea was it's like interchangeable. Like the computer is just a extension of the Ark. So like the Ark brings the Autobots and Decepticons back online, whereas like in the cartoon they decide to just differentiate. The Ark is just a ship, while the computer that brings everyone back online is called Teletran 1. Again, it's like a little interesting change that the cartoon made compared to like the original idea. So there's that. That said, though, when the Autobots and Decepticons awake, they're still kind of fighting for a similar reason, which is like energy and resources. So even though they left Cybertron for a completely different reason, their battle on Earth is still the same as like the cartoon and everything else, like resources, energy, etc. That's what they're fighting over. The Earth is just abundant with it, unlike their dead planet. So they're just gonna duke it over. They're just gonna duke each other over it, and that's just that's just how it was. So yeah. Now, Jim has a couple of notes, etc. Besides just like the original idea. So like, he had like two. So basically, he had 2 bullet points he wanted to emphasize when it comes to like describing the origin story, etc. Like, no matter how the origin was, it's gonna be told. He wanted at the very least the Decepticons have to have like some like a high-tech base or something on Earth, while the Autobots just hold up in their crash ship. And then at the same time, they'll also have to introduce, the main human characters. And that's how we get, and that's where we get notes about the human characters and stuff. So, for example, excuse me again. We get introduced to the good old Witwikis, the same Witwikis as Shia LaBeouf in the 2007 Transformer movie. So we got the dad and the son from the cartoon, Sparkplug and Spike. Though, what's interesting though is Spike was the original name they had for the main human kid character, but then either Jim or O'Neill writing this, they crossed out Spike and decided to change it to Buster. And what's so fascinating about that is the G1 cartoon continued to call the kid Spike, and because the cartoon was the most influential thing, they stuck with Spike for quite a long time, for just 40 plus years, while the Marvel comics went with Buster instead of Spike. So it's Buster Witwicky who befriends the Autobots in the Marvel comics. But then the cartoons went with the original idea of, no, his original name, which is, his name is Spike. So that's just very fascinating. The dad, Sparkplug, is still called Sparkplug, but what's just kind of funny is just the way Jim talks about Sparkplug. So he describes Sparkplug as a rough, tough guy, uneducated and rowdy, but a natural mechanic with an affinity for things mechanical. By instinct, he can take apart, put together, and fix almost anything. So the way he's describing Sparkplug is he's almost just like your average middle class blue collar worker, but at the same time apparently he's also not that smart, according to Jim. He straight up said he's uneducated, but then he just, for some reason, is able to, just by talent, able to, work with robots and mechanical stuff.
He's not educated, but he's a savant.
Yeah.
He can, he understands his way with the Autobots.
Yeah. So so it's just funny to think that based on Jim's idea, Sparkplug's the guy who if you told him I don't know, I don't know, I guess he'd be like me, whereas if you told him to do basic math problems, he would be like me. It's oh shit, I don't know. Oh fuck, damn it, what's 2 plus 2? Oh, what's 2 plus 2? Nick, what's 2 plus 2? But at the same time though, for this guy who struggle with probably adding up money and stuff, could just by instinct alone just help Wheeljack create a weapon of mass destruction if you wanted to. It's hey Sparkplug, you want to help me build an atomic bomb? Sure thing, Wheeljack, you got it. Alright, now hand me. Alright, now I need you to help me do the math equations to make sure I get the atomic bomb's not gonna kill us and, trigger an atmospheric, burn up. Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Fair enough. So there's that. But, so while Sparkplug is, the mechanical guy, Jim writes, Buster / Spike as, the kid character, but he's also, a very different person from his dad. Where his dad is, the mechanical guy, Buster / Spike is not interested in any of that. He just wants to be his own dude. He says he's interested in sports or adventuring or even so that might be able to understand that if he were interested in sports or adventuring, even science, but he's not. Spike / Buster likes to draw. He likes to read philosophy books and even some poetry. Where have I failed? His father moans. So, while the dad wants him to be take up, after him, Spike / Buster is more of just a kid. He's just an introverted kid. He likes being an artist. He likes being smart. Oh my gosh. son, why don't you put down your book about psychology and help me fix the car's radiator? I don't want to do that, Dad. Gosh, I just want to finish my I just want to read my book. Gosh, why can't you understand that, Dad? And then, so really, you got the dynamic of like the son being a different person, trying to be a different person from the father, etc. And then they would eventually befriend the Autobots and stuff. Spike was supposed to have friends. He called the fat kid O. Spike was supposed to have a fat friend called O. Get it? Because he's called O because, round. Wow, Jim. I sure do get that. It's like, you know what? After that story that Mashik told and reading this, yeah, I really do believe Jim would be the type to go, call the fat guy the O. Because he's the guy who's gonna call, to go to all the other, Marvel writers and go, hey, stop writing shit. So he called the fat kid O, because round. But it also apparently, Spike was supposed to have a female friend, not a girlfriend in a sense like that, but like just a friend who's a girl, called Jessie, who Jim describes as diminutive stature, but it belies her boundless courage. So just like a small little girl who's actually like really brave. Sparkplug was gonna have a girlfriend who they just call Toots. What's the girlfriend's name? Toots. That's her name, Toots. And yeah, so that's obviously just a human curse, right? But then this is where the really interesting stuff comes in. So Jim wrote down he wrote down brief ideas for 3 characters for the Transformers. He wrote down ideas for Optimus Prime, for Prowl, and for Oktar, who would eventually be renamed to Starscream. So it's just kind of interesting that the first 3 characters of Transformers to ever, like robot characters, to ever have anything at all written down behind their, personality and behavior, etc., was Optimus, Prowl, and Starscream. Megatron's out of the picture. Jim didn't even come up with like Megatron at this point. He came up with Optimus, Prowl, and Starscream. Bumblebee? Who the fuck is Bumblebee? Who cares about Bumblebee? Megatron? Again, Megatron, like leader of Decepticons? Who cares about him? He's not important right now. The 3 characters that first were like ever had anything behind them: Optimus, Prowl, and Starscream. I think that's just very fascinating. So obviously, like Optimus, obviously he'll become the mainstay leader. Starscream would end up, being the mainstay of like the treacherous second in command. But what's just so fascinating is Jim, the 3rd character that Jim ever had a person like anything written behind was Prowl. So it felt like Jim wanted Prowl to be a bigger thing. But it's just interesting because nowadays Prowl's not really a big thing anymore. Prowl's been relegated to like a side character at best. Isn't it wild to think about? That imagine if like in some alternate timeline that was Optimus Prime. For some reason, Optimus Prime he was the leader of the Autobots for like a good chunk for a while, but then afterwards, going forward for the next 40 plus years, Optimus was just never the leader of the Autobots again. Maybe he'll be a leader of the Autobots, but that title will just go to like probably like, I don't know, Rodimus or something. Who knows? And really, the only reason why Optimus continues to stay the leader of the Autobots as the go-to guy is because of the movie, and the cartoon. The cartoon and the movie is what made Optimus stay the way he was, but then how like the cartoon was the thing that ended up being the most influential thing, because I know Prowl has a larger role in the comics, but in the cartoon, Prowl's a side character at best. And because of that original 84 cartoon, ever since then, Prowl has just been relegated to just the side character. Even though Jim clearly wanted Prowl to be a bigger thing. I think that's just fascinating to think about. An original character that was supposed to be a bigger thing just ended up kind of not being in the spotlight for 40-something plus years now. Well, obviously not 40-something plus years, but like a little more like a little under 40-something years now. But like if you really like when people think of Prowl nowadays, every time Prowl gets to shine, it's mostly in the comics. But in like mainstays, like in like more, you know, general media stuff like cartoons, movies, etc. Prowl, either like a side character or just a background guy. Like was a
or animated.
Yeah, before no, but even after, but like Nick, I think even after animated, like after animated, Prowl went back to just being the side character.
Well, yeah, but like that was it's funny how like it's up to anime for him to.
Yeah,
but
but then at the same time though, animated Prowl is, you know, like, is almost like a different beast in some ways to the Prowl that Jim was writing about. Like, sure, there's like, you know, like it's a nice twist on the character, but at the same time, that version of Prowl has got like completely different baggage going on. So like, it's just interesting that like by the time Prowl got to be a main character in a show, it's like a different Prowl. So, I don't know. That's just interesting to me. That said, though, Optimus and Starscream end up being this two that, you know, stay the same. So Jim wrote down things for Optimus and Optimus and Prowl ends up being mostly the same. Starscream is a very fascinating case. I'll get to Starscream. So I just want to read these files real quick. So let's just go with each character one by one. So Optimus Prime. Most of what you see that Jim wrote is pretty much, yeah, that's just Optimus Prime to this day. So Optimus Prime, if he had been born on Earth, he would be a doctor, a mechanic, a scientist, and a warrior. But on Cybertron, there is no difference between his professions. So Optimus uses his skills to heal and repair, which are the same thing to Autobots, to control the world around him and, if necessary, to destroy. He's the leader of the Earthbound Autobots and also the largest, strongest, and wisest of them. Both in power and intelligence, he has no equal. He has the personality of an Abraham Lincoln. He can be immensely kind, and his compassion extends to all that lives, including the creatures of Earth. Yet when what he holds is sacred is threatened, he can wage war swiftly and mercilessly. That's Jim's original thing he wrote for Optimus Prime. And we were talking about this when we were reading this that night. For the most part, like when you read this like for the first time on surface level, like, yeah, that's Optimus Prime. That's the leader of the Autobots. That's like the consistent thing to this very day. Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel like congested all of a sudden. What the fuck? What the fuck? You ever get that feeling where like just out of nowhere all of a sudden you feel like congested? Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on with me. I think I'm dying or something. Who knows? But anyways, so on the surface, right, you read like the bio for Optimus Prime, and again, like, yeah, that's Optimus Prime. But then what occurred to me is how like when you really like go into like the details and stuff, like some of the words he used to describe Optimus, it kind of made me realize like if this description of Optimus Prime is something that his own Autobots would use to describe Optimus, but like this bio alone is probably something that Optimus Prime himself, especially how he's written nowadays, would probably disagree with a good chunk of things said here. Like, for example, like the idea of, oh, he's, you know, he's like the largest, he's the strongest and wisest of any of them. Most Optimus Prime nowadays, they would go, no, that's not me. I disagree with that. I'm not the largest, strongest, or wisest. But, like, every other Autobot that would probably go, yeah, you're dead. But Optimus would probably go, no, that's not me. Like, both in power and intelligence, he has no equal. Optimus would very much disagree with that. Like, so it's just interesting how, like, this whole bio is just to hype up Optimus. Like, he's, you know, he's the go-to good guy. Yeah. But then how, what's interesting is how, like, this bio kind of almost, like on the surface, again, it's like Optimus, but like when you really get into like some of the words Jim chooses to describe Optimus, it kind of conflicts with the main perception people have of Optimus nowadays. Because when people perceive Optimus, sure, this could be like, you know, oh, like this could be somewhat of a good description, but like most people go to the main idea of how Optimus was like portrayed in the cartoon, and you know, and if you go by like especially like Peter Cullen's story of how he came up with a voice, like it's almost like you know, the difference is in the details, where the idea of like, you know, to be strong enough to be gentle and all that, right? Like this is an Optimus. Like most Optimus nowadays would not be the strongest or wisest, etc., and they would very much never be. Like, sure, they're not saying they aren't strong or wise, but like there's a humility to Optimus Prime that like clearly like here in this bio you don't really get the idea of like that like sort of humility, because Jim wasn't thinking that. Jim just wanted to, you know, like just write down, oh, he's the leader. He's, you know, we gotta gas up the leader. He's just that good. Optimus Prime, yeah, baby. So that's just what gets to me, that how Optimus Prime has, in a sense, grown and evolved over the years. And again, this is like the original idea, and how you see how Transformers for 40 plus years now has changed, or either expanded upon these original ideas or completely deviated from it. Even down to like some ways that the characters are, you know, described. Now when it comes to Prowl, what's kind of interesting is Prowl kind of remains consistent to how Jim described him. So Jim describes Prowl as quiet, competent, and very loyal, but perhaps his most valuable trait is his almost endless patience. Only Prowl is assigned. Once Prowl is assigned a task, he will keep at it until it is accomplished. He works with proven facts, not imagination or guesses. If he had any doubts, he will radio Optimus Prime, his commander, before proceeding. He hates doubt in any form and strives to make everything he encounters reasonable and logical. He believes it only when he can explain it. Personally, he is friendly but not too sociable. In conversation, he will tend to listen and instead of talk, except when someone says something unreasonable. Then he will demand an explanation. So the way Jim's describing Prowl, he's a quiet guy, but he likes being the voice of reason, the voice of logic behind everything. That's how he thinks. Like things gotta be logical and reasonable to him. And that kind of description of Prowl is mostly how the comics have gone on to portray Prowl. But then, like, it's just interesting how in animation though, Prowl is just, you know, that guy in the background, the side character. They don't ever really go into depth of what he really is. He's just Prowl. Like an original cartoon, like the peak of his like screen time was when he had to like one thing where like I think like either Spike or Chip had to like control Prowl through like remote control because he was having like trouble controlling his body or something. And that was it. That was it for Prowl. But in the comics, they continue to sort of do the logical guy. And then so it's interesting how as the years went on, they kind of expanded upon that or changed things a little bit. For example, how like in like especially like in IDW, Prowl is still like the guy who wants to like make everything logical and stuff. But then how they kind of changed it to become he's almost cold, distant from everyone. He's not even friendly at certain descriptions. He's just the logics guy. And what's so fascinating to me is how for someone who's like supposed to be like the voice of logic and reason on the Autobot side, how is it that Prowl has not had any real like encounters or anything done between him and Shockwave? Because Shockwave is sort of the Decepticons version of Prowl. Shockwave's the logic guy for Decepticons. So how come, you don't really see anything of like Shockwave using his logic versus Prowl's logic? Like I think that would be such an interesting, matchup. But then they don't really do anything with that though. So I don't know. But either way though, Prowl continues to be that one guy where in animation he's just kind of that guy in the background, but then in the comics that's where he really gets to shine. So I don't know. I don't know. What does that say? Is Prowl just stuck to be only really that interesting in comics? Like the only time he ever really got really like mainstay highlight was animated, but after animated was canceled, he went back to being that guy. So I don't know. Now, what was it? So we get to the last character that Jim / O'Neill, ever wrote about, which is Starscream. Now, the original name for Starscream they had was Oktar. I don't know how they came upon Oktar, but that's just what they did. That's just what they came upon. They decided, Jet Guy, Oktar, sure. Most likely they're trying to think of like, what's like a very like alien sounding name. Like what's an alien name? Oktar. Doesn't make sense. Alien. Let's roll with it. But then they decided to change it to Starscream. Because, he's a jet, and then, like, he's able to fly and stuff, like a star, like the sky, and then scream, like, like the roar of his, rocket engines and stuff. So, that's super interesting, like, the name change. But what's interesting, though, is how they describe Starscream here. So, Starscream, soaring swiftly through the clouds, Starscream gazes with scorn on the creatures below. He is utterly contemptuous of anything that cannot lift itself from the ground and claim the sky. Occasionally, he expresses that contempt by diving and striking, leaving flame and destruction as he again speeds upward. Yet he is not totally insane. He needs a reason for his violence, some way to justify it. This is provided by his Decepticon companions. He believes their words about the war against the Autobots being a holy mission because his soul requires that belief. Without the sense of purpose that the other Decepticons provide, his life would be meaningless, and this he could not bear. So right away, what's so fascinating about that is how the first half of everything that was Jim wrote, like, yeah, that sounds like Starscream. But then the second half, that's when things get interesting, and you can see how much things have deviated. Where, for example, the idea of Starscream viewing the war against the Autobots as like a holy war, that's never been like really ever touched upon in any adaptation or anything. Like when you think of Starscream, a holy war? Nah, he doesn't. He's not a religious guy. He wouldn't care about some holy war or like some greater purpose. He doesn't need a sense of like what's the sense of purpose of life? He just wants to be that guy that everyone looks up to or fears, etc. He's a selfish, greedy, power-hungry bastard. And so like the idea that he would view this conflict in like almost like a religious sense is like far from anything Starscream has ever been for these 40 plus years. No Starscream has ever viewed viewed this conflict in that way ever. Every Starscream has like their own purpose or view of this war. Like most times with Starscream, he fights this war because he's just an asshole. He just likes killing Autobots because it makes him feel good. It's like, yes, fear me. So like, and like the idea that like and I'm gonna be honest, like if you ever have a Starscream that like ever is portrayed this way, like almost like a religiously fanatic Starscream, you probably get shit on nowadays. Just saying, because most people would not think that would be Starscream. Like, they would probably go like, Starscream doesn't care about like some religious war. That's not Starscream. Where's the power hungriness? Where's the greed, huh? Where is that? This is not Starscream. 0 out of 10 writing. I think that's just interesting. Yeah, like no Starscream has ever been like that. Like, the only other Starscream I could think of that like is a somewhat of a deviation from like the power hungriness would be Armada, Transformers Armada. But even then, I don't think Starscream ever viewed anything as like, you know, like through like a religious lens. So that's just such an interesting change that like no one has ever done with Starscream. Unless there's like, you know, some obscure like Japanese manga out there that did that. Who knows? Maybe. Well, I don't know. So yeah. We'll say so yeah, but that's just that's really kind of it. That's really kind of it for the original treatment Jim and O'Neill wrote for Transformers. I just felt like I wanted to talk about it for a bit. I just think it's just so fascinating how you see where some things came from, how things changed and deviated or expanded upon. Like, Starscream is very different nowadays. Prowl was supposed to be probably bigger than he is. Optimus is sort of the same, but not really when you think about it. Like, it's just fascinating to me. And I don't know. I think I don't know. I think it would be very interesting if like maybe you know, if Transformers ever want to go back to those original ideas by Jim. But who knows? Who knows? I just want to talk about it for a bit. That's all. So yeah, I don't know. Nick, you got anything to say? Nick, you there? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't think Nick can hear me. Is it me? Is that mine? Hello? Not? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's just Nick then. He can't hear me. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You got anything you want to add to that? Not based on everything I've said.
No, I don't think there's any more I could add.
Okay then. All right. Hold on. Let me just make sure everything's okay with Nick. Can you hear me? Hold on. Let's see if he responds or not real quick. Oh my gosh, it's already 11 o'clock. We've been going for over 3.5 hours now. Damn. I should have known. This is what happens when you talk about when I talk about Transformers. I go on for a little bit longer than I should. Anyway, speaking of Transformers, I'm gonna mess around with Devastator again in my hand because he's cool. Studio Series Devastator is cool. Prepare for devastation. Alright. Well, Nick is not typing anything. So I guess either he can't hear me or he's just preoccupied with something. So, alright. Well, in that case then, I don't know. I guess that's really all I gotta say. Yeah. I just don't really have anything else to say about Jim Shooter's Transformers. I feel like that's all I want to say. So, that's it. That's the show. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. So if you guys are interested in checking out anything we talked about, go check them out. Was it the K-pop movies on Netflix? Warfare should be on most streaming sites now. I know it's on like Prime and all that. And then City Hunters and anime. I don't know. I guess maybe it's on Crunchyroll, but if it's not, there's sites for it. And then I just want to talk about Transformers. So I guess we'll be calling it here. Looks like everyone went to bed by now, but that's fine. It wasn't really that big of a turnout for tonight anyways. But either way, thank you everyone who came, and thanks for watching on the replays. And yeah, no stream tomorrow because we did Sonic already on Monday, and then next week I'll probably take Monday off, but that's just because I need like time to make a schedule and stuff. So yeah. So with that said then, thank you everyone who came. Thanks everyone watching on the replays. And yeah, until next time. Good night. Good night.